Where's the rest of the fest?
Oh, they're coming. They're a little late. We can get started and talk about the oh, we know what we can talk about?
What? Show
Your
me.
your picks.
Oh, fuck. I'm completely screwed.
I'm coughing, sorry. 1 second here.
Maybe it was not sickness. Maybe it's still the situation after our dinner on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe I had too much to drink.
I had 18.
I don't even
The,
that
the,
was
the last the last the last thing I heard from you was, "Oh fuck, that's strong."
well, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what the people at the restaurant were doing, but the drinks kept getting stronger. Normally when you drink,
Yeah.
the more drunk you get, the less you can taste the alcohol. You just
Yeah.
start, right?
But it was your 18th.
It was something like that. I don't know. Shut up. I don't know what. But I all I know is the drinks kept getting stronger. It was like they were trying to fuck me up more. I think it's because they
Maybe.
I think it's because they knew I had to sign for the tip, and they're like, let's make sure he's really drunk. Ben, what's going on? How are you?
Ben.
What's up? Hey guys. I missed the party, huh?
You missed the party.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But after half an hour, he thought he has actually drunk 18 cocktails.
Well,
So
let's hold
it
on a
it
minute.
it
Let's
it, it,
back
it
up.
went quite overboard, you know.
Okay, let's back up a minute. Let's back up a minute, all right? It wasn't just alcohol, first of all. There was a lot there was some mushrooms involved, and I was a little bit fucked up, all right?
You know,
So
the best thing is he was sitting next to me. Sitting next to me, yeah. And besides my ear, he was planning to mix mushrooms into my drinks. But he was just sitting next to me, and I could hear every word. And Urs, no, I don't think that's good. He's funny enough. And Urs Urs tried to push the fucking mushrooms.
Oh man, I wish I'd come. So would have helped you.
yeah, I know, right? We could have got him fucked up. It was a good time. It was a good time. I don't drink that often. I probably drink, I don't know, 2 or 3 times a year.
But when you do,
But when I do, I like to have a good time. So we
When did you get home?
the next day I went back to the hotel and
No,
crashed and
no. I mean in the evening because we left, I think, at 10:30, 11, something like that.
well, we just went back to the hotel and had some drinks at the hotel.
At the same time, quite?
Yeah, around the same time. We had some drinks at the hotel and then we crashed.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it wasn't that bad. I woke up in the morning, wasn't really too hungover. I was tired, so Paul drove most of the way home and then I slept and that was it. But yeah, it was a good night. You missed a good one, Ben. It was fun. But
yeah.
it wasn't like the normal though. It was just like I think me and Paul were the only ones that were fucked up. Maybe Urs
Well, I
and
was pretty fucked up. When I saw you in the lobby, my mushroom had already started to hit, and I was like, I need to get back into the I need
yeah,
to get back
that's
to the
right.
room.
That's right. You were already
I
fucked up.
think I think you were just sitting at the not so fun table.
Me? No,
Yeah.
you guys were all sober at that table. For
But
everybody
we
for
still had a lot, still we had a lot of fun.
uh this guy asked how much do you tip Fouad for great service? Usually 30%.
Fuck.
Um well, for great service. He said great service.
What's a great service for you?
Well, if I never have to worry about my drink being full, if I never, if I never have to worry about my drink being full, if I don't have to wait too long for my food, that kind of stuff. That waitress is really good. She's there, because we go to the same place every year.
The bigger lady,
Yeah, the
you mean?
the
She
bigger
was
lady.
she
Yeah,
she she was good. She
yeah.
was really good.
She's there every year. She takes care of us really well.
See, you know what the problem is?
But
Normally
what
I'm
what, what
there.
you didn't recognize, I got an allergical stroke.
What are you talking about?
No, I was sitting there,
Yeah, yeah.
it started to itch. Then I started to get my bulbs.
Really?
But Martin's cameraman is always improved. He had me to choose for Benadryl or actually a EpiPen.
Oh, so he took.
And
What were you?
we immediately fixed it.
What did you
What were
have?
you allergic?
Yeah.
Something in the
Yeah,
What did
food.
you do?
actually, I'm super histamine intolerant. So there must be something with high histamine content because it went super fast. And after I took the antihistamine, it went away super fast. I
You mean in
just
the
started to get short breath and starting to get my bulbs.
You mean there's something in the food?
Yeah,
I wonder what
I
you
had
ate that.
nothing except the food.
I know, but I'm wondering what would be in the food that has high histamine content.
I thought maybe the bacon in the Brussels sprouts.
Oh, okay. Okay. James,
I
how are
I,
you?
I think
Good.
that.
It's always the Brussels. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How are
Sure.
you?
Oh yeah, it's always the Brussels sprouts, man. Fucking everybody over.
Yeah. You know, the devil.
You were
Yeah, devil's food.
you were not at the phone for those people watching. We had a private room. We had two tables. We had the sober table.
And I was, I
No,
was on the so I was on the sober table.
we were the fun table.
You were the sober table. The sober table is never the fun table.
I think we had fun. I think we had fun. We had some deep chats. It was a deep table.
It was a
Yeah,
deep
well,
table, actually.
that's what happens when you're sober.
Yeah, it's a good job you didn't come over.
Unless you get really, really high, then you become on the deep table on this side too. So we didn't go that far.
Cool.
Anyway, how was your night, James?
How was my night?
How was your night that night? Do you have fun?
Great night. It's always good to chill with you guys. I appreciate it. It's always that's part of I try to explain to everyone, like you come out of a show, win, lose or draw. Like I say, there's so many other factors to what makes bodybuilding great. You win some, you lose some, but then when you've still got friends and fucking memories, like it's not a cop out saying, oh, if I win, I wouldn't feel that way. No, in all honesty, like part of the good thing about what we do is that we've all met each other and just have a good bloody time. So I always try and reinforce that because that's probably the best part.
I think I would be the same way. I think is it fair to say you were somewhat disappointed with your
Of course we
outing?
are. Like everyone wants to win,
Right.
but I said it like this. It's kind of hard to explain sometimes to people because some people put it all on one show. I'm like, Sunday league football, you might lose on Sunday, but
Mm,
then next Sunday you could have a really good game, and I'm like, that's
right.
bodybuilding.
Well, one of the nice things, and I'm glad I have you guys both here because obviously we have coach and athlete, so we can discuss kind of what happened. But one of the nice things is you guys improved James from Friday to Saturday pretty dramatically.
Yeah, I
Like
think so.
it was like a 30% difference between
It
what you
was.
showed in just one day. So I have high hopes for Detroit.
For sure. It's all
Um,
learning, isn't it, Fuad? It's all learning, and this is our first show together, and it's actually like the first time I've been at a show and had a coach there looking at me while it's all happening.
mm.
So I'm a bit of a mystery to anybody. So it's cool that we were even getting to learn that process.
It's funny you said that, James. Stefan, I want to ask you something because when I was
Mhm,
coaching, so
mhm.
for those people who don't know, I used to coach a long time ago, never at the level of Ben or Stefan, but um, when I was coaching, I actually had an easier time looking at photos of my athletes, and it almost kind of threw me off a little bit when I would see them in person because you're so used to looking at photos every week, every week, every week for like 16 weeks or whatever, and then
Yeah,
finally
true.
you see them in person, and now you're like, it's
Mm.
almost like a different perspective. So does that happen to you guys at the very top?
I always go for at least have had one time a real look, then I can calculate it in my mind.
You mean like in the midst of a 16-week prep, you'll try and see them
No,
somewhere?
it would be enough to have it once a lifetime,
Okay.
and then I can deal with the difference between picture and
Oh,
life.
Okay,
so now that you've seen him in real life, so now between now and Detroit, you already know what to expect.
Exactly.
Okay. Ben, are you the same way? Do you kind of like how do you feel about the picture versus real life thing? Is it
Yeah,
some
it's tricky. The first time is always a little tricky because some guys will photograph a lot differently,
yeah.
and then it doesn't translate through. And then some guys will look crazy good on pictures, and then you see them in the flesh, and it's a little less. So yeah, it depends really. But it is tricky. It does throw you off, and you have to. I sometimes find that when I first see them, so say I prep them for like 16 weeks, and then I get to like the peak week, and then I see them for the first time in person. I have to take that first initial look
Hmm.
and throw it away. I almost have to take it and throw it away,
Yeah.
and then see what they look like the next day. So I always try and get a look at them, and then see where that look changes. But
Yeah. Okay. So I thought it was just me. I'm like, maybe I'm not cut out for this because I'm like, I would see Hani and stuff walk into somebody's room and be like, I mean, maybe it looks that way to me, but seem totally confident, like, okay, this is what you look like. I already knew. And for me, it was always a very different thing going from photo to real life. So I didn't know if anybody else had experienced that. So Steph, sorry, go ahead, James.
I was to say, even at the low, like I used to coach a few people, and I had some really decent clients. Even like, yeah, I kind of felt the same as well as you.
Yeah,
I'm more like
yeah.
you. I was like, oh, well, okay.
I don't know. It's weird because when you look at photos, it's like, I don't know, it's the angle and it's set back and there's lighting.
Stationary, it's consistent. It's
The worst thing. Go on.
That's, for example, why I always jump around when I have live check-ins.
What do you mean?
I don't know if you recognized it. Maybe James did. When I do a check-in with one live, I never stay at the same point. I sometimes go behind the athlete, go to the other side, go forward, backward to
see it all.
to build that whole picture in the head, that I know when I get pictures which angle is the good and which is the bad, and that I can categorize the pictures or the videos I get. So in life, I need to see that from different angle, even if I'm not seeing it from the total front, then I can build it together.
Sorry, just letting everybody know.
The other thing as well, and I think this comes with the more, like the longer I do it as well, and I probably made a mistake of not doing this at the beginning, is hiding my reaction. Like I find it hard to, if you walk into an athlete the first time and you're a little, like you kind of need to, like you said, Hani would walk in and act very confident in what he was looking at. But sometimes, if they've traveled and the look is off, not to get too panicked, because that energy's if that energy is going to pass on to the athlete. Yeah, and actually, just watching Stefan this week, I think that's probably, when we said this, one of his like
strong
secret weapons is to calm the athlete, whether he knows he's doing it or not. I'm sure he does,
for sure.
To be able to put the athlete at ease.
I know I'm quite a hard person to calm, and I think this is the calmest. I think this is the calmest I've ever been, especially considering the magnitude of the Arnold.
James,
I had the best time, like with everybody. It was fantastic.
I said this to Paul on the way home. We were driving. We were talking about the show. We were talking about everything. Your mindset going into a show is very, very similar to what mine was. And when you're at the Arnold and the Olympia, it's almost like it's
double, triple.
It's almost like it's too big for you.
Yeah, it swallows you a little bit.
It's not too big for you, obviously, because you're James and you belong there. But I think in your mind, if you're anything like I was, it's almost like it's too big for you.
For sure.
I felt like you get, on those bigger shows, you get imposter syndrome really bad.
100%. And that's why I was trying to explain to people that the only way to deal with that is to do them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have to do them. That's why my whole concept about this show, regardless of like result, is part of getting over that anxiety, is just being there and being present, whatever happens. And then the more you do it, the more you're comfortable. Because it's a far and few show, isn't it? Let's be honest. There's only one Arnold a year and there's only one Mr. Olympia a year, and you're not guaranteed to get to either. No. So each one it's a big deal. But if you can try and get to them and then just manage it, I think eventually it just becomes the norm.
It took me 4 tries to get in shape for the Arnold, like mentally.
Yeah.
Where my body matched my mindset.
Yeah, for sure.
Where I walked on stage and I was shredded. But the thing is, it took me so fucking long that I was shredded, but my physique had gone backwards at that point.
I hear that.
So I waited too long to you know what I mean? Like, you gotta, I don't know what it is, Stefan or James. I don't know if you guys know, like, is there a way to speed that process up?
Constant work, not only on the body, it's
on the mind as well.
On the mind. And actually that sounds quite homosexual or whatever, but
why?
No,
I'm like, what?
The point is, we are all dealing with demons.
Yeah.
And the sport will probably bring the deepest and the oldest and the longest demon sitting in us on the surface. And when you are ready and when you recognize that, why are you feeling like that? What is the reason behind feeling like that? Maybe have to go 30 years back in time. Then you have the chance to overcome that and step on stage with a complete different mindset.
Yeah. I just want
But
to
that's work, and that won't happen just
Overnight. Yeah.
overnight from one to another day, you know?
well, James is right in that repetition can fix it. The problem is the Arnold's only one time.
I don't think if you have
Just,
luck, repetition can't
just,
fix it.
just hold on a minute. This is what I'm saying. If it's repetition that's frequent, you can get past things pretty quickly if it's constant repetition. When it's one time a year, that's not frequent enough for you to be able to overcome. It becomes a very climactic thing that happens once a
Yeah,
year, and your
it's
mind,
all,
yeah,
it's worse. It's worse if it's because
right.
you're building
Yeah.
everything to that one point. No matter how good it goes, it's gonna be anticlimactic
Yeah,
afterwards.
what I'm saying is if like Arnold was every single week,
Yeah.
you would eventually get past it without
Sure.
having to do any homework at home, right? But when it's once a year, you have to go back and figure out why you're making this big deal out of this one show.
I think the other shows do contribute to that as well, though. I think a lot of us make the mistake of like calling our seasons too short, and therefore prematurely kind of writing off the ability to
Yeah,
even help ourselves. Because
yeah,
whatever show it may be, Detroit, FIBO, they may not be quite of the same magnitude, but they're still part of that process, and I think they still help you a lot. Because it's the practice, isn't it? It's the practice. You still got to turn up. You still got to register. You still got to look everyone else in the eye that's competing against you. You've still got to be in the room and understand the whole situation. So I think taking advantage of competing more. I think that's why a lot of the old school bodybuilders had like kind of lower nerves because they just treated it like it was fun. They were like, I'm going to do 5 or 6 shows and enjoy all of them. And if you come out with a good result at 1 or 2 of them, then man, that's even.
Well, there's a couple. Go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
I was going to say there's this weird thing at the minute, and it kind of I watch a lot of like combat sport, right? So like boxing and UFC, and the boxing model has this thing where if you lose, it's disastrous.
I know,
right?
and it's like
you want to be unbeaten. Whereas in the UFC, they'll fight the best of the best, and they'll win some, they'll lose some, they'll win some, they'll lose some, and you just keep rolling forward. And I think like recent times, it's been like this thing where you only want to win your show, and anything less than that is a failure, and it's this big thing. Whereas actually, if you look at, I mean, take Mr. Olympia for example, right? He's like fucking built his way up. There's very few like Phil Heaths of the world or Derek's of the world that are just rise to the top really, really quick and home run most things. And I think so. I don't know whether that's a social media thing that's kind of like perpetuated that notion of like one and done, and we have to win, and we're going to win our pro debut, and then we're going to be on to the Olympia by our 3rd show, and etc. etc.
It's unfortunately what it is. It's actually critics that have. It's critics that voice that opinion. There comes from critics that don't really have any value in their opinion, because what they're forgetting to understand is that people like us that do this, the part of what we actually enjoy about this is bouncing back. It is seeing our flaws and understanding what they are and working on them. Because nothing's fun if it just falls on your lap. Like we all get back in the gym like after a show if it didn't go how we wanted, and we're reignited and we're motivated, and that's how motivation remains. So it's so weird when people that are not within the this kind of well, they're not really in it, but they're on it on the outside. They call themselves fans. Are so quick to have that opinion. There is a one and done. That if you do a show and you don't win, then your career's over and you're wasted.
Yeah, he's shit.
That's so far from what any sport is.
Guys, I have 2 things I want to note. One,
sir.
the thing you're talking about, I think, is social media is the main culprit, right? Like you talk about the 90s, the guys didn't care because they would compete, and the results from their show wouldn't come out till 2 months later in a magazine.
Exactly. Most people lost.
So they've already, if they were 6 to the show, they don't give a fuck. They've already eaten. They're already in the middle of their off season when that show, when that result comes out. Right
now, there's like live commentary. You get off stage after pre-judging, and
he's
there's
shit right now. He looks shit right now. He looks shit.
So I think that has there's 2 things. So there's that has created tons of pressure. The second thing is there's a lot more money involved now than there was 30 years ago. So guys now are like, your stock goes up and down with your show placings and your fan base. So like, think about Samson. He just won Mr. Olympia.
Yep.
He goes to the Arnold expecting to win his $500,000. He takes 2nd place. It's 150 or something like that. Yep. So he just lost 350 grand. So there's like And then who knows what happens to guest posings or sponsors or whatever after that, you know, because now people are like, oh, is he going to win
We're
the
in
Mr.
fickle
Olympia?
times where people
Yeah.
just
Now they're like, oh, maybe he's not going to win the Mr. Olympia. And then your stock starts to dip a little bit. So it's like, I think there's a lot more pressure on bodybuilders now than there was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Because of those two things. Sorry, Stefan, go ahead.
Yeah, I was interested to see what.
You've had your
What
hand
I
up
wanted,
for some reason for a while.
what I wanted to say before, and that goes now a little bit deeper. As you know, I do that now since really, really a long time, and I'm always very interested because of my own mind and my own history in the mindsets or in the psychology of the athlete. You know, what every of that super great champs have in common is self-love.
Okay.
I mean that in a very, very, very positive way, you know, not that you are an asshole because you think you are the best, but let's call it self-love, you know.
You could call it, you could call
deep
sorry.
appreciation of how you are,
Yeah.
what you do, and what you achieved without any doubt.
I think
More self-respect.
I think we call it self-belief. We've talked about this before.
And
Like
worth.
believe, like
I think self-love is quite a good thing because
Okay.
when you go deeper, a lot of the people who struggle with self-confidence,
Yeah.
they struggle with love themselves
Mhm.
and really appreciate how they are or getting along with their own character. They're always searching for their mistakes. They are always searching for their worth and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So one of that crucial thing is to really get into self-love.
Mm.
If you achieve getting into self-love, then the big pressure which comes from outside won't play that big role because you're already in a place where you are, I would say, in line with you and your own picture.
Well,
Yeah,
you don't need external validation, right? You have internal
Exactly.
validation, not external
Okay.
validation.
Exactly.
I'm gonna counter that with something though. The people you're talking about that don't have self-love, and I might put myself in that category, right? Because that's where imposter syndrome comes from, where you always feel like you're not good enough, or you didn't do enough, or you've tricked people into thinking that you're good at what you do, or
It was luck.
yeah, or it was luck, you fell ass backwards
Whatever,
into success. Yeah. So let's say I put myself in that category. The problem with self-love is people that are like me that don't have self-love. If I'm just going to use me as an example, I probably shouldn't, but whatever. It almost feels like you're being cocky or arrogant or overconfident, or it's fake if you have too much self-love. So you're always kind of pulling back because you're like, I don't want to love myself too much because then I might be cocky, I might be arrogant, it might not be
But
real.
there is a huge difference
I know there
between
is, but I think the people
self-love and
I agree with you, but what I'm saying is the people that are so far back on this side that don't have self-love don't know how to they don't know how to get to the middle ground. They think loving yourself is like too far the other way.
Yeah,
but that's
an
exactly the
issue.
point where I said you need to go back because that missing self-love comes from somewhere.
Right.
And if you treat that, I call it now syndrome, you know, there are ways through it and there are ways to start a complete different life and to set things completely different up.
Right. No, I agree. Listen, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. What I'm saying is the hurdle, look, I have a friend recently, we were just talking, this is so stupid, but it's kind of along the same lines. I have a friend, we were talking about clothing, and he was like, I want to wear this hat, but I feel like if I wear this hat, people will think I'm showing off. He thinks he has to remain so humble that if he has any love for himself to like wear something or do something, that people will perceive it as arrogance or cockiness. So it's like the people that are in the category you're talking about don't know how to get to self-love. They think it's overshooting it.
I remember being in secondary school and like deliberately telling myself, don't come across as arrogant. Like the worst thing that can happen is for other people to think you're arrogant. So I kind of went the opposite way.
Right.
And then it becomes like self-deprecating, right? Then you kind of just start going down that way because that answer is safe. because
Right.
now I'm not even flirting with being.
Right.
There's no risk of me being considered arrogant if I'm completely self-deprecating.
Exactly.
And then that grows. Like I remember must have been like 11, 12, 13. And it stuck with me through my whole teenage years.
Yeah.
And then it just grows into something else that now when you become 30, 35, is something much bigger and deep rooted that, Stefan's right. You have to go back and try and undo.
Well, that's why it's fucked up, because if you do something good that is successful, or you are successful at it, you don't know how to live in your skin. You're like,
Yeah.
You're always kind of pulling back from it. So I think, James, going all the way back to what you were saying about doing Detroit, doing FIBO, and doing one of the common questions I always get is, how do you overcome anxiety? And it's preparation. Preparation and confidence. Preparation leads to confidence, leads to quelling anxiety. So if you get on stage 6 times this year, you're right, they're not all Arnolds, but by the 6th time, you're like, fuck, me and Stefan have already walked this walk 6 fucking times. There's no problem. And you just breeze through it.
Well, that's why I feel so much better already, just having this time that I've had working alongside Stefan, because it's put all those things into practice: routine, order, and preparation. The fact, even down to just like checking in and stuff. It's just that preparation, and it makes me just feel like I can breathe a bit. Like,
well, look, this isn't, you're not an outlier. You're actually the common man, because if you think about most bodybuilders, right? Think about every bodybuilder we see on stage. They're always better the second night. Why are they always better the second night? Their nerves are more calm. The cortisol levels are lower. They've already experienced the Friday night. Now they're walking on Saturday night. They're like, okay, they've already seen me. So now I can relax a little bit. Or like Samson, you see Samson did France 2 weeks before the Olympia.
That was kind of his Saturday night, Friday night.
Yeah. Why did he do that? Oh, now they've already seen me.
Just
now
get the nerves off a bit and feel good.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a common thing, people like Akeem, people like Phil Heath. Phil Heath was Mr.
He's
Saturday
always
night.
Saturday night. Yeah, always.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't think it's an abnormal thing, because there's a lot of pressure with that. That first reveal when you walk out on stage is a big fucking deal to a lot of people.
Yes.
So
that's why you have to give Derek, I know, just have to give him props for how he was so on the fucking money all weekend.
Yeah.
Like,
he was nailed when especially Saturday. He was like, perfect.
Yeah, he was. Well, it's the best Derek we've ever seen by far.
Can I go back to the point? The point you were making about Samson and like getting second, not first, and maybe stock. The interesting thing I think there is, I think in the long run, he's done his popularity better, because if you look at Ronnie, when Ronnie went on a run where he was like just untouchable, and when Phil did, and when Jay did, eventually the public starts to turn on them, right? And actually, the public, or the fan base, normally stay quite keyed in to the underdog. So when a guy starts to reach too far ahead, he becomes unrelatable. Even if he's really, really popular, then there's a point at which he becomes unrelatable, and now people start,
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I've seen that pattern happen all throughout bodybuilding. The only difference is this: when you only win one, it's not enough, because people say it's a fluke. Look what happened to Brandon Curry, right? Brandon Curry won. The common conversation I hear is, yeah, he won one. Not everybody did that show. That's why he won the Mr. Like there's always a caveat, right? When you crush 2 or 3 in a row, it's right. But you're right. Once you go too far, if you win 3 or 4, then people are like,
I do like what Ben says, because I think that's why I'm such a fan of Samson, because he's willing to put it all on the line, and that's something that I don't think we've seen from bodybuilders for years. Like, Ronnie put it online that one time. There's a couple, but when he looked, like, for example, the GNC show of strength against Gunter. And and then he bounced back like motherfucking, came back in 2003 at 286 pounds and blew the world of bodybuilding apart. So there could be an interesting scenario now with someone like Samson, who's just had a little bit of a bite at his heel. It's pretty, he's got him fired up. He's got his own gym now, and it's going to be ready soon. This could propel things even further for everybody and for bodybuilding in general.
Look, I don't want to. It might have been a bad example, because
no. You said what you said was right. It's no.
I didn't want to use Samson as an example. I was just saying, like, the point I was making then is just there's a lot of pressure because of there's a monetary aspect now that existed before, but not like it does now.
No, exactly.
Like the maximum prize, the maximum prize money they were winning in the 90s.
100,000, wasn't it?
$100,000 was the Arnold and the Olympia.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's now 5 times that.
Yep.
And then it's not only that, the contracts are much bigger.
Contracts, popularity for guest
Do you
posing.
think do you think the contracts are bigger now?
I know the contracts are bigger now.
Okay.
Not,
Is that-
I mean, I meant
maybe-
at the very top, at the very, very top. I don't know about that.
so I'll say this. The contracts at the very, very top might not be bigger, but the difference is each athlete has multiple contracts.
And he has more possibilities.
So like when you were,
Yeah.
so when you were like, if you were Mr. Olympia, like if you were Dorian Yates or if you were Ronnie Coleman, you had BSN,
Yeah, and then maybe
Right?
Chic. And
and then maybe a Weider contract, maybe Chic.
Yeah.
Now there's like fucking energy drinks.
So,
like,
yeah, well, yeah, God
there's
knows
like,
what. Yeah,
and then to top it all off, these guys are also making money from YouTube.
yeah,
You know, like some of these guys that are smart, like Samson's smart.
a few
Samson's got
thousand
his,
pounds a month from YouTube.
Samson's got his own YouTube channel. He's banging them out once or twice a week. He's probably making money off of YouTube also.
Yep.
So like there's a lot more avenues, I think, for pros to make money now. And I think that also adds to the pressure.
For sure.
Six Shutter Productions, thank you for the super chat. He says, thank you, gentlemen, for all that you do. You're welcome. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Josh.
Foot. I have one interesting topic.
I just
didn't
want-
talk.
Sorry, I just want to read this one
Yeah?
super chat from Joshua Moore.
Joshua, I know Joshua.
He says, what was the point of having an ESN booth at the Arnold if you can't get the products in America?
Just to show
it's
presence.
it's presence, man.
Just to
good.
show presence, just to show that we appreciate the sport. We want to support the sport. We paid for that the live stream is
Live
free,
stream was the
you
ESN.
know. So we were doing for the country something
there-
global.
There's something that people don't understand also is that if you take yourself out of your own little world, if ESN is at the Arnold and they're taking pictures with thousands of fans at their booth, that gets broadcast all to their entire social media base in Europe. So it's good for ESN, for people, for their buyers in Europe to see them at the Arnold with all these fans and
Brand awareness.
supporting
Yeah.
bodybuilding.
You got to look at it like this. Again, it's that glass half full, half empty kind
Well-
of approach. They could not be there at all and be
Yeah.
like, you know what? Yeah. But,
No, but-
it's the making the effort, the presence, doing the live stream, like you say. It's
Well,
all,
I'll also say this because this is something maybe people don't know.
you know,
You'll
because
never ever make your money back for the booth
in the next
from the sales that you sell at the booth. It's just not. I mean, maybe if you have a freak weekend, you might, but the amount of money some of those booths cost.
Also, Fouad, the booths were actually just more for an opportunity for people to meet people
Yeah.
like Wesley, myself,
Right.
Urs. So we did time on the booths so that people could come get pictures
Right.
and not have to not only meet us at the meet and greet. So it
Right.
was a way to see Stefan or anyone you wanted to meet, and it was a place of reference.
Well, and that's what we call it. We call it like the fan experience. You want you want your brand. You know, if you sign athletes, like Hostile has Martin and we have Samson and whatever.
So-
If we want people to connect with the brand, we want to try and create that fan experience wherever we go. So there's more than just
in
more
whatever
than just,
capacity you can, you know.
right. Anyway,
And
sorry,
in,
Stefan.
and in the end, it comes really down to support the sport, because everybody can imagine that paying for the live stream wasn't the least cheap thing.
Typically, yeah.
Yeah.
But now I have a task. I've never discussed that with someone. Can you please open a picture from Derek from the front?
Okay.
He's front double, bro.
Whatever, front double or anything.
When he does that, and that's
And
just
then the
pop.
question goes
Yes.
directly to Ben, or not that much to. I will open the picture, and I recognized something,
I'm
and
interested
that's
to see
very
what it's-
interesting.
1 second. I'm trying
I
to
hope
find.
you catch a picture
This
where
is-
we can recognize what I want to say.
I'm trying to find.
You know,
Okay.
you don't know what you're just about to talk about. It's kind of exciting.
Yeah, it's funny.
What are we pointing out, guys? I've just been seeing so many clips, and I was just like blown away with the fucking lats.
His posing routine. He does that one where he goes down.
Yeah, we don't see it here that good, but it was okay. I need from the front.
That's not front
Okay.
enough. Is
Yeah. Stop it now.
That's
Okay, both in finals and in pre-judging. Do you see the darker spots on his adductors?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Was that on purpose?
Like right here.
Did that happen? Do they create with the darkness more volume in the legs?
Do you want me to ask Denise?
I think
It's
you're,
almost tricks to the trade.
That's really there are pictures from more close where you see that even more. And it was the same on the pre-judging and on the
Hey.
judging.
Denise. Come here, please.
I think you're overthinking it, Stefan.
Yeah, it was just something which came into my mind.
Like here.
Yeah.
Wait, wait.
And
I
on the
think
other one, and the other one also. It's so symmetrical, you know?
Yeah, but I think it's because his legs are rubbing together, so the tan doesn't look as.
No, because it also goes into
darker.
the intermedius. It was darker.
No, that's what I'm saying. So like his legs are rubbing together here, so it's rubbed some of the tan off. Whereas here you can see
Yeah,
it's
but
all
it's
darker.
not of the, but it's not at the area. Nah, it's just there are better pictures where you can even see that more. It's
Hang on.
really funny.
Hang on, Donice, who tanned Derek?
Kelly and Alyssa.
Did they tan his adductor darker?
You
to
see,
make it
in the inner side, they are completely dark, and then
You know,
it's
we don't
not.
do that. It's just where it pulls from, probably.
Because of
Well, they
sweet
said it wasn't-
skin quality as well. Because you got really good skin on that part. I don't know.
A lot of times we do go a little darker inside the leg on the first couple of coats. That way, when they get on stage, they don't have right here.
But could that
But
create
it
a
looks like
better
little
look?
dark patches anyway around him, and that's just probably where. Yeah,
This is this is where his legs are rubbing together. That's the only difference.
right. That's it.
That's
Okay,
not-
so it's rubbed lighter.
Yeah,
back,
because
yeah.
because it rubbed it off. But you can see here all the way down this line and out is all the same color. So that would tell me that, you know, his pants or whatever, his legs are rubbing together here, and that's why it rubbed some of the tan off.
Mm-hmm.
I think even Samson's has done the same if you ever look closely as well on that left leg, like the one you're on now, just where the arrow kind of was. Yeah.
Yeah, like here.
Yeah, just kind of rubs it. Look at that.
Yeah, like it's darker here. I think it's just the legs rubbing together personally.
Yeah, that can be.
I think
But it
Stefan-
just
I think
went into my mind, and I
think
thought maybe it
Stefan's trying to think
created
of a conspiracy theory here.
Tactics.
No, not conspiracy at all.
Strategy.
I really was interested because
What?
actually you could use tanning to make things better, or whatever. It's completely okay to do that.
Yeah, they do it with oil all the time. I've seen a certain coach with a certain Mr. Olympia tell the girls don't put oil on his delts because he had oil in his delt.
It
And
made
if, you
it
put, and if you put oil on it, it would highlight the
oil.
the
The oil reveals oil.
Yeah.
This
So
guy-
they're tactical about it.
This guy said, "Does anybody else think Fouad looks like Drake?" What? Do I look like?
Which version?
Isn't that a black guy?
Yeah,
Yeah, but he's got skin tone like Fouad. He's not
he's
that
got
dark.
a lighter skin. He's got a
Yeah.
lighter
Oh,
skin.
really?
He's like,
the
I don't
wish
even know.
Drake.
Is he like? He's got to have a couple of ethnicities because
Can
he's
Fouad
very light
rap?
skinned.
Anyway,
Can you rap? Can you
Can-
rap, Fouad?
if you put something on, I can probably flow with it. No, I'm just joking.
Oh.
Okay, I want to go to. I want to go here.
This
gonna-
Nick's good.
We're gonna look at our predictions from last week.
I got hammered, huh?
I think I'm the most fucked.
results.
You're loyal. That's what you are.
I won. Ian was second. Seth. Ray.
How
Yeah,
can you win that all the time? You're just
I'm
you're
just listen. I know.
Ah,
I know.
I-
body-
you changed it so
I
often.
swear to God, I didn't change it. I just know bodybuilding stuff. I'm sorry. Okay.
At least I'm better than them.
Yeah, you're ninth.
I
place.
got
I'm in
fucking
eighth.
hammered.
I'm in the same place I placed.
Okay,
so-
but there's a reason why. Let me see.
Carlos fucked me.
No, first of all, you only picked 10, so you get less score because you did.
We didn't even know about that 11th guy who didn't.
I know
finish.
that's not really your fault.
What did he do? Did he not finish?
I also had
He didn't
just
turn
10.
up.
You
Why?
fucked us again.
Fuck this again.
Yeah,
can't remember.
let's see.
Okay, but wait a minute. You wouldn't have won anyway.
How Arab
okay.
can you be without saying
okay.
you are Arab?
Look at you. You lost anyway. Look,
I scored you no
You
points.
had 18 drinks.
you
I
had
fucked you.
you had James in third. You had Andrew in fourth. You had William. You
Am I-
fucked all these.
I'm not that bad. It's just
Yes,
changed
you are. Look, you had. What are you talking about?
I
You had
the-
Brandon. You had Brandon and Akeem in 8 and 9.
But still, it was motherfucking good because
No, it wasn't
William and
motherfucking
Sean-
good.
It's motherfucking good.
No, it's not motherfucking
To be
good.
fair, William and
wasn't
Sean are in their
that bad.
correct spots, I think.
Oh man, this is
Show
good.
me yours.
Look, this is good. I have these two are off.
Yeah.
and then I had
damn.
these two are off.
Damn, I wasn't in sixth. Close.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
it was yeah, you had just luck with Brandon.
He must have had some sneak
Fu-
peeks.
Fuad is always loyal to Rami and Brandon. It don't matter
Brandon.
if they're in the lineup. He's loyal.
but I was right, and not just
You know
loyal. And see, you guys see tuck by bullshit.
And you are fucked.
Why? What do you
Because
mean?
William beat Brandon and you never did thought that that would happen.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yes.
I thought Brandon was going to be better at the Olympia.
This was
Yeah,
a good
it
Brandon,
was.
this show, though, wasn't it?
That
This show.
Brandon now was super cool. And can you remember backstage, we really had fun with him. He didn't stop Bloating because I was always making funny jokes about someone. And Brandon,
you know, it's
Brandon
funny.
completely went nuts.
Him and Bonac are like a duo.
I was sitting with Ian, Seth, Paul, and Ben, and I remember the three of them. Ian, excuse me, I'm sick.
Definitely.
Ian and Paul for sure, and sometimes Seth. Seth was on the fence. Ben, I'm not sure. I don't remember what you were saying, but those guys thought that Brandon was better than Andrew.
I
few people did. So did you.
I said that, I say that, and I will always say that.
I don't think so.
I did on the Friday night. On Saturday, I thought Andrew came back a lot.
I thought
better
Andrew
on
was
Saturday.
extremely freak factor at this show.
Saturday,
on Saturday, yeah.
That shot with his tongue like that, I was like,
Friday he did not
That's just
look
me.
good.
Friday,
I didn't notice him Friday, but Saturday I did notice.
Friday, I felt like he came out a little lanky because they tried to go for condition more than fullness.
He was definitely
And
full
then-
on fucking.
And then
Saturday.
Saturday he corrected it. Saturday
Saturday he came out as full as a house. And
Yeah, but
Saturday
for me, the condition is nothing which should be a top 3 condition. But that's my personal.
I think I'm so focused.
that's
on
my
looking at-
personal.
Yeah, I always look
style
at him
or
from
like.
the front.
Okay,
I always
well,
look at him from the front, Stefan. So I never notice his condition because I never really look from the back.
Okay, but hold on a minute. This isn't really bad condition.
Yeah, take a look at the back.
I am. It's not. I
Yeah,
mean,
there is no single hamstring separation, not even one. There is no separation in his glutes. When he walked, the glutes were hanging.
The conditioning
Yeah,
was though.
it is like that.
I don't know if it's a condition thing or a development thing.
No, he's been leaner than that. The first with Arnold,
You
where
know,
he went against Nick.
his lower half from the back is just not conditioned as it should be for a top 3. And I like Brandon because of that way more. Because he did his homework, you know?
I don't know, guys. This looks like the conditions the same. This is from what? This
Yeah,
is from,
but that's 24 Texas. But no, you need to compare him to his best condition, which was the 22 Arnold or 23 Arnold.
no, because he was lanky at that Arnold. This is his best look.
No, okay, but it was his best condition. I'm not saying it was.
No, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your best condition is. It matters what your best look is. If your condition is better but you look worse, it doesn't matter. Right? It's like
I like Brandon more. For me, 4th place would have been fine, but I like Brandon more because for me, Brandon had the whole package. Yes, his quads from the front are not that nice, but that's the only thing.
No, that's a big thing though. You can't say it's the only thing. If it's like his legs don't match his upper body, that's a big deal.
Yeah, take a picture. It's not that bad as it was. He really did a fucking great job.
Let's see. Listen, I need to stop for 1 second. I think Brandon was absolutely incredible. I did think he was close to Andrew. I just didn't think he was better. I understand why they compared them so closely because they were close, but I just thought Andrew pulled it out.
I think across the 2 nights, I'd have edged it to Brandon.
Here, let's look at this real quick. It's a little bit far away, but
in that picture, his legs are not off from the front. That nothing. The size, nothing.
I feel you know what it is. It's Brandon's upper body is.
His legs are also great from that side. In that shot, there is nothing which is missing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I noticed with Brandon being around him is just how thick his mid back is.
So who would you give the shot to, everybody? It's between Brandon and
yeah. If you're picking Derek and picking Andrew and
Brandon and Andrew. Yeah.
That's maybe the shot Andrew could win because of his height.
Okay.
He's so much bigger. Yeah.
We're all giving it to Andrew. Okay, let's go to the next shot.
Yeah, Andrew's arms, bruv.
They're suspect.
And there's the front last spread. You have to. That's Andrew's best pose. Yeah,
Andrew. No way.
So that's 2-0 right now.
Yeah, and
Side
the first
shots.
was a
Okay.
tie.
They're going back and
both side shots are Brandon's. Period.
Brandon's got some of the best side shots ever.
I might have to agree with you there. And the back shots are
Because
probably
even his hams from the side are like really wild.
Right, so he wins both side shots and both back shots for sure. Both
And
back
then
shots.
abs and thighs pretty.
Abs and thigh is Andrew. Andrew's ab and thigh is probably the best in the league.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, isn't it?
I
Look at
didn't
his
know.
shoulders.
I don't
man.
know. I don't know what was going on with the tongue though. He was sticking his tongue out on like every pose. It's kind of throwing me off a little bit.
His shoulders from the front and his closed most muscular is his closed most muscular is also better than the closed most muscular from Brandon. But all the other poses for me, it's Brandon.
Hmm.
So
I thought overall balance went to Andrew.
No,
I think it's
because
pretty even
when
pose for pose, and then condition wise, Brandon should edge it.
also
Well,
when it comes to balance, with that huge shoulder width, even Andrew's legs are more behind than Brandon's legs.
no, come on. Now you're being
Show
now
the,
you're
the
you're being
legs
biased.
from the
Come on,
legs from the
listen.
side.
Listen, there's a reason why you were 9th place and I was 1st.
Oh God.
I'm Team Brandon.
Okay, guys,
And I'm not biased at all. I have nothing to do with both
I
of
have
them.
listen. People say I hate Andrew, so I'm not biased either. I
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't hate
Yeah,
Andrew,
true,
but
true.
it was a thing for a little while
Why do they say that?
because when
He's
Andrew,
racist.
you know why when Andrew first came out. No, listen, when Andrew first came on the scene, everybody was like, "This guy's the next Mr. Olympia," and I was like, "Guys, he's really, really good." But to say
We got torn apart.
yeah, me and Ben especially.
I was in Tampa. It was the week before. I was in Tampa and we recorded an episode, and we said,
because
I
was like, guys, from the back, he's not as good as from the front. Like I picked out some things that I didn't think would let him win the Mr. Olympia, and we got fucking killed because when he first showed up on the scene, everybody was so impressed by him. They just crowned him Mr. Olympia, and I was like, I understand the excitement, but there's a couple things,
Because I remember Fouad.
Yeah.
Because I trained before the Olympia 21 in Dubai with Andrew.
Yeah.
You were on that podcast.
And that's when I was like, guys, I said, this guy's not even a pro. I said, he's no fucking joke.
Yeah, you were on him.
And people were like, nah, and I was like, mate, I said, I was in a posing room with him and I was going through his posing and I was like, this guy is going to fucking blow up.
Yeah. Everybody was that. And look,
I would really like to see him in Brandon's condition.
Yeah.
Then he easily gets that top 3 or even more far ahead spot. But he needs to
I think
to
they
get
have
that in.
Stefan, I think they have a problem. This is the problem I've noticed with Andrew, and I've said it for the last 2 years. He has a certain amount of size when he's full blown. As soon as they start pulling the condition, that muscle is not really muscle tissue. It's more volume. Do you understand what I'm saying? So like when they come down,
I understand you.
When they pull all the condition all the way down to muscle tissue only, it looks stringy. And that's how he looked. And to me, that's how he looked on Friday night. He looked like he was a little bit lanky. The limbs weren't really popping. The legs looked a little bit downsized. That's his actual muscle. And then they carb him up on Saturday, and he walked out, and his fucking legs looked big, his arms looked big, everything looked crazy again. So it's almost like he has to put more tissue on his body so they can get him shredded without losing the fullness. It's almost like
it's how I feel about me. It's like me.
It's almost the same thing you said with Regan. Remember you said with Regan that when they pull him down, the volumization goes away? I feel that way about Andrew. He just needs more tissue so they can suck him down even further and still remain nice and round. So,
but anyway. There's only a few people that are like at that level, like Derek, Brandon, Samson, that have that level of muscularity where they can really,
where you can keep pulling.
Because even Samson could pull down definitely. I'd be interested to see that.
Yeah. No, well, Samson, no matter what they feed Samson, he's always full.
Yeah.
Like Samson's been on I don't know how low his calories have been, but he showed me some of his meals. It's like 3 eggs. That's like a meal. It's 3 eggs for a guy who weighs 300 pounds, and he's still full. He still looks full.
There's no myostatin in that body.
Yeah, like I don't understand how that works, but okay. So the one thing we didn't get into, we kind of got into it, but then got away from it. I just want to talk about it really quickly because people maybe were asking and we didn't really nail down an answer. I kind of want to know from you, Stefan, what do you think you could have done differently to bring James in on Friday like he came in on Saturday or better?
You can't you can't rehearsal the show scenario.
Mm. Yeah.
That's
That anxiety.
that's something which is which we are doing now different things, or we are leading different to Detroit. But when I could turn the clock back, it would have been hard to do something different for Friday because I needed to see what I saw on Friday. Does that make sense when I tell it like that?
Hmm.
To to have the real base,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
see
You also
where
have
to
to find
go
you have to find the line.
and to where what it goes. So if I would have the chance to turn the clock back, it would be different because I would have needed that data.
I got you.
If I would do the time back and have the data from that first day, I would do things different.
You needed a benchmark. Now you have one.
I needed a benchmark,
Yeah.
yes.
I just want to answer this one question. Sorry, I saw it somewhere here. It said, are you supposed to pronounce Stefan's name Stefan, or is Fouad just doing that?
No,
We-
Fouad does it.
on the
He learned it greatly now.
on the last podcast, we discussed this because I asked Stefan exactly how to pronounce it, and yes, it is Stefan, and that's why I'm saying it that way. Although it still it still feels weird when I say it. It still feels
Actually, from Friday to Saturday, we didn't do a lot different.
Just a bit more.
We throw a bagel more or less in it, and that was it.
Yeah, but
But
James,
it's another day of accumulating that fullness again, It's just another day.
But I
And
wonder
that was all my question to you, Stefan, actually, because I was kind of like being able to see what you guys did. Would you start a day earlier with loading him?
Yeah, start the day earlier, but still then the question is, would the body allow it?
Well, that's kind of what I was going to ask just now is, do you think the reason Saturday was so much better than Friday, James, directing this more at you, was there more of a relaxation to your whole day on Saturday? Like were your nerves more calm on Saturday?
They were pretty similar.
Okay.
I honestly just think my body just requires quite a lot, and it's just got to learn the amounts. Like we had a little bit more fluid from the Friday to the Saturday, just a bit more than we were having the previous day to help with a little bit extra food.
Yeah.
The problem with me, I find, is that I've got to eat a lot.
Right.
But then because you've got to eat a lot and it's pretty clean, you've also got to be mindful of,
your gut.
piss.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to really approach that. My mind would just say that I have to have a certain amount of calorific intake, but do it in a way that doesn't cause upset, and make sure that I've just got plenty in me in plenty of time so that I'm full.
And one thing for sure was the more potassium-rich food.
Yeah.
We included because no diuretics, so we had the chance to give him more potassium-rich food, and that just built up more carbohydrate intake into the muscle.
Stefan, this is for you because I'm actually curious about this, like X's and O's question. This might be a little too in the weeds, but I just want to ask anyway. If a guy has a problem with a bloated stomach, like I had that when I was getting ready for a show, I needed a lot of food to get full, but we had to be mindful because my stomach would get distended. Would it be easier
burger and chip 'em, you're going to say?
Yeah. Would it be like a more calorie dense food choices to load the muscle? And
in the most scenarios, that leads to incredible sweating and bloated stomachs.
Okay. What about still clean but adding insulin? Does that help shuttle more quickly?
Now
yes. We just added bagels with maple syrup and bananas as fucking booster.
I got a hypothetical question. So you say you start loading on what, the Wednesday, but you did the Wednesday as more junk food to get ahead, and then pulled back on the Thursday and the Friday to cleaner food.
The problem is, if the stomach is fucked up one time, he's fucked up
the whole time.
And we managed
sense.
we managed James' stomach even through the whole prep until up to the stage, even with, I would say, 2,000 grams of carbs a day without any bloating.
I managed to
Yeah.
hold it pretty well
Yeah,
considering.
it's funny, Ben. I would have thought the same thing a while back, like because Chad did that with me, and it actually worked, but my stomach wasn't fucked by then. I was still really young.
Yeah.
But we
I've done
did
it with people who front
so
loaded them, and
yeah, so we did like show Saturday. Wednesday we ate like shit, like burgers, cake, just fucking shit food. And then Thursday, Friday we cleaned it up, and then Saturday I was like bang on 100%.
I,
But
I haven't done a full day. What I've done in
yeah,
a lot of instances, which well, say Wednesday we start
Every other
loading.
meal, I bet you
By
did.
the time I get to Wednesday night, rather than put another clean meal, I'll give them something heavier, just one meal,
yeah.
so that we don't wake up behind on the Thursday morning.
So
right?
we didn't do every meal. What we did was, I believe what we did on the Wednesday was one meal was a burger and cake. The next meal was
Burger and cake.
no, no.
One burger, one cake. Are we doing a slice of cake or a cake?
No, like mile high chocolate cake. So one burger, one cake, and the next meal was chicken and potato. And we went back and forth like that. So it was 3 shit meals and 3 clean meals. I woke
Okay,
up.
but still,
Hold on a minute.
if
I'm
that
just-
works out, then it worked out one time. Replicate that.
Just hold on a minute. Just
You're
let me
just-
just let me finish. I'm not listen. Just let me finish. I'm not saying that's the way to do it.
He's not saying this is the protocol.
I'm not saying that's the way to do it. That was it worked to a T. I peaked like perfectly, but it did not work every time. Like that's a tricky way to do things. And secondly, I talked to a homeopathic doctor recently that told me that once you introduce a bunch of shitty food, it takes the body like 2 weeks to resume like normal operations in your stomach.
Yes.
So like introducing a bunch of shit on Wednesday and then trying to clean it out by Saturday is not necessarily going to work for everybody, especially if you already have.
The issue I would have as well, gentlemen, is that once you open my taste buds,
Oh, you're fucked.
I'd struggle. I'm not gonna lie, I'd struggle. So if I had something really fucking savory,
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Where's my fucking sweet?" And then I'd be like, "Where's my savory again?" And then there'd be just trouble because my mind would be playing.
I tell you what, I've done with. So cool.
And even that, that's nothing how I built up my career. I would rather go for 95% than trying a 100 and never can replicate it.
Mm.
Oh no, I agree.
It's just something I'm
very
not
risky.
it's not only very risky, it's just guessing. And I will never do something with guessing. I
get
do something, collect data, change it, and work it out.
Well, in Chad's defense, I don't want to say it's guessing. I mean, everybody is guessing to a certain degree, but there's educated guesses, and then there's a shot in the fucking dark.
Yeah,
guesses.
but if you go out to a restaurant, it still keeps guessing because
no two restaurants are the same.
I tell you one thing I like doing. If say they have 3 liters of water to consume in a day, they have their normal meals. If they're behind, I'll add cyclic to their water. So now they're just drip feeding carbohydrates. I can get another 200-300 grams of carbohydrates in the liquid, in the fluids.
I just want to answer
and that doesn't disrupt their stomach.
I just want to answer this question real quick. Fouad, don't you think that Samson would benefit from having a real experienced coach at the highest level to bring Samson finally peeled? The talk is always the same, lacking condition. I just want to make note that Samson has had a notable coach. He worked with Milos for 3 years, and wasn't able to win the Olympia, and didn't win the Olympia till Mel took over. So I don't know if using the term real experienced coach is
she has real experience with him.
Really applies here, because he's had what people consider a real experienced coach, and he did have great success. I'm not going to say Milos didn't do it. He had amazing success, but he wasn't able to win the Olympia with him, where he was with Mel. So
I think if you ask any bodybuilder at the end of the career, would they rather have Arnold wins and show wins or one Olympia?
Yeah,
they're gonna probably take the one Olympia.
Everyone says the Olympia.
And still, they do brilliant progress. So the question is not even worth it. That's the point.
I guess ultimately it's funny that the question is even being asked. He just won the Olympia. Yes, he slid one show, but that was Derek's best ever. And Samson was not his best ever on the Friday night. So
it's funny, right? Both times, the last 2 Arnolds, Hardy and Derek, have beaten Samson. They have been nailed.
Yeah. You have to be.
Those two guys,
Yeah.
both those Arnolds have been, in terms of a peak, have been peaked on the money to be able to beat him, and it was still fucking close.
Yeah. I mean, there was only 1 point on the Saturday night.
Yeah, it was very close Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, I think he's good with Mel. I think they're doing a good job. I think he was bigger than the Olympia. There's something that people also aren't taking into consideration. And I know, I'm making excuses for my friend, but this is actually a fact. It's not easy to do the Olympia and then become Mr. Olympia, deal with all the pressures of being Mr. Olympia, the travel, the phone calls, the contracts, the obligations, moving your house, renovating, and then start another prep shortly after, and then expect to have your best ever on stage. It's not easy to go from one prep to another, and that's why not a lot of Mr. Olympias do it. When Ronnie was Mr. Olympia, he did it one time, and it actually almost cost him the Olympia in 2001. Because if you guys remember, he won the Olympia in 2000, and then he did the Arnold 2001. That was probably the best Ronnie Coleman ever. And then he almost lost that Olympia to Jay.
The GNC then. Yeah, that
No,
was
no,
then.
no.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
the-
2002.
He did lose it as well.
He almost lost the Olympia to Jay that year. So it's not easy to, for guys this size to peak back to back like this. And
Stefan said at the beginning of this podcast, everyone's facing their own demons and shit. And there's a lot going on in everybody's lives. Even to Bodak did a post, just even to get to that stage looking admirable is a fucking massive feat in itself. And the fact that you apply all those other aspects to Samson right now, who is Mr. Olympia, has moved house, is a handyman doing most of the work in his house himself. The dude's a marvel just even be able to get to that stage and kick everyone's ass, bar Derek.
There is something I want to discuss also that maybe we don't talk about at all. And Stefan, I'm curious to get your opinion on this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's just bodybuilders that, like when you see Derek and you see that condition, right? There's not many guys that get that crisp, like in the glutes, for example. Like
genetic, man.
If you think about it, you think of like Flex Lewis.
Flex is the same.
But there's only like a few people you can think of that get that type of graininess. So
in specific body parts.
And in our sport, you got to admit that having that genetic gift in your glutes is always very impressive to the judges. Where I'm going with this is, do you think that there are some bodybuilders that just won't get there? And I think of people like Cedric McMillan, like people constantly, Cedric, why aren't you shredded? Cedric's not working hard enough. So I used to talk, Cedric was doing
100%. I'm with you. That's definitely the case. Not everybody can get there.
So I just think,
and not everybody looks good when he gets there.
Right. I guess the reason I'm saying that is because when you look at bodybuilders like Andrew, like Samson, like Cedric, like fucking, there's so many bodybuilders I can think of in the past. Like Lionel
Lee Priest,
Lionel Bayecki. There's some guys that just will never ever get that like grainy, thin skin.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be grainy, thin skin. I would call it there is a minimum of condition, or the condition which is good enough. I think Samson is a very good example for that. He's not a grainy guy, but his condition is very good. And his condition is good enough. It's especially when we compare him to Andrew.
Yeah, of course.
That's the condition I want to see. Still, he's not the grainy white boy.
Right.
With walnut glutes.
I guess what I'm trying to educate.
And I think, and that's what I like that much on Samson, is that he found that balance.
Yeah.
Within his physique, what is good for him.
I guess I'm trying to. Mike says Lionel barely ever dieted seriously. I want to know how Mike knows that.
You just don't know. I think there's a lot of medical things probably with someone like Lionel.
No, but I'm just saying, I find it funny when fans say like this guy didn't work hard or that guy.
If you don't know the person, you don't know shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't.
That's one thing, and the second thing is everybody out there. I have no idea how they come to that idea. Think that everything is always controllable.
Mm-hmm. I just like people.
There are never circumstances which could get in your. It's all controllable. For everything, there's a solution.
I just always found it funny. People talk about Regan, for example. Oh, Regan doesn't work hard. I'm like, how do you know? But how do you know that? Are you at his house?
Have you trained with him every day?
If it was a case of just work harder or do more, there'd be all these couch potato fans would be doing it. It's much harder than people think, and to just lowball someone in that if they were off at a show as being lazy is fucking stupid.
You know,
Let's distribute this.
me and Paul talked about this because even Paul said to me, we were talking, and he said, "Don't you think that the level of condition is directly related to the amount of hard work?" And I don't. I
No,
don't
it's
think
not.
it's.
It's
I
not
don't think
because I
it's
know
directly related.
this year the condition that I think the condition that me and Stefan got in is superior to last year, and I definitely I pushed my body a bit harder last year in that
Right.
respect.
Right.
But the condition was definitely better this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Stefan is right. It's about bringing the best look of that physique, and that doesn't always. The same rules don't apply across the board because you chase a body part. What do you give up, right?
Yeah, you
What are
lose
you
two to gain
gonna?
one. You
What
lose two to gain
right?
one.
Yeah. So okay, now we're gonna hyper focus on the glutes and the hamstrings. Like say for instance, Andrew. Okay, you chase the glute and the
What
hamstrings
happens to
to
his
get
arms, his
them get
shoulders, or
yeah.
back?
Everything else fades, and now he's way off of that physique.
Right.
There's always a cost. There's a price to
There's
pay,
always a
right?
cost. I know that because me and Stefan have discussed some things that need a little bit of bringing back to life on my own body. It's just one of them things. It happens, and some people just know that the more you do it, the more you know the point of where okay, we're there now. But that's something that takes time.
By the way,
for example, because just to go back with that glute issue, you know, that the condition in the glutes, or I would say the striation in every muscle, is directly connected with your ability to contract it
yeah.
in a
Okay.
high,
Yeah.
in a high ability. You know, there are guys with that brilliant striated triceps. When you let them hit the triceps, you could push a nail into the wall
Mm,
in every second of the day, you know,
right.
or
Right.
with the
Right.
glutes, they get super dense contracted, or with the quads. And
Right.
there are people who are lacking in contraction quality in those areas. And
Right.
then is also less cross striations because the graininess or the quality of the muscle is not that big as it could be.
Makes sense. That makes
But yeah,
sense.
this is where like stuff like soft tissue at that higher level, soft tissue work, and making sure that you're actually able to contract the things and fire them, and all those minutia come into play. I'm constantly telling my guys they got to roll more and stretch more and increase their mobility and the other stuff outside of the gym. If you can't move the body and contract it, then Stefan's right. You can't expect it
Not
to
display it.
develop and show. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you got as long as it matters what you can show, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate being sick. Stefan, by the way, I want to say congratulations on William. I thought Friday he was okay. Saturday he was awesome.
Mm.
I really like the way he looked on Saturday night. So
And
congratulations.
Sean looked incredible.
Oh, sure, look crazy as well.
Sean looks incredible. I just feel like his legs are a little bit down in size from what people are used to. And I think that's why he didn't place a little bit higher.
Yeah, because he thought before that it is clever to do 2 hours of cardio a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well, he's
even when you see the leg development from or not the
Olympia to
leg
now.
development, because we didn't have any off season, the
Yeah.
leg held more size between the Olympia and now.
yeah.
I do think again he was better on Saturday than Friday. Again,
I think everyone was.
I think he needs to put some of that tissue back on his legs and then
I
he
think
can
that won't be a problem. William is a good example when you drop out cardio and take more perspective on recovery. Nobody anymore is talking about William's weak legs. You know,
No, it's true.
that was the running gag. Yeah, William has weak legs. William has weak legs. Over 3 years, he's old. They disappeared. The legs are absolute brilliant.
Yeah, they look great. Yeah. Okay, let's do some predictions.
Predictions.
Predictions for Detroit. Let's see here.
Now it's getting complicated because for sure there are also some newcomers or
Oh wait,
Yes.
I gotta add somebody. Sorry, there's a guy that messaged me. If I don't add him, he's gonna kill me. Fuck, where's his name? Where's his name?
sounds over the top.
Ralph Farah. Ralph Farah. Add player. No, not add player. Athlete. Create new athlete.
Ronnie Coleman.
Ralph.
Oh, Ronnie.
when does the Pro League give you so Monday, they give it immediately Monday when it's close to you, the competitors?
I guess, yeah. I have to actually message him. Where the fuck is he at the very bottom now? Yes.
Yeah.
Most
Ralph.
probably.
Okay, there we go. Predictions. All right. Okay, Ben. Go ahead. Come on. This is gonna be great.
Wrong Gordon.
You think Ron Gordon's gonna win?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm standing on it. I don't care.
Here's a
We have a bet, by the way. Just so everybody knows here, we have a bet.
I'm telling you, Ron's a
Ben-
breakout.
Ben-
Ron's
Ben-
gonna have a breakout year.
Ben
Watch.
thinks Ron Gordon's gonna win, and I don't.
Yep.
And I got no love lost for you, Ron Gordon. I don't know, not Ron, I love Ron Gordon's physique. He's a great guy. I just don't have him in first.
We're not talking about him being a great guy or not. It doesn't
I'm just
fucking
saying-
matter. He's gonna win the show. Don't worry about it.
And if he doesn't, you're gonna eat the surstrumming.
yes.
what?
No. That's not the bet. That's not the bet.
You're
The
due
bet-
now, bro. You're due. You
The
got to do
bet
it.
was no. The bet was whether it was like between James and Ron. Like that's
Okay,
not fucking.
okay,
That's not,
okay,
that's-
okay.
It wasn't pinned on Ron winning Detroit. So let's
Okay.
take that off the fucking table because
Who do you have second?
fucking twist.
Who do you have
Show me the
second?
list. Show me the list.
It's right here.
I
These
can't
guys.
see it. I can't
Yeah,
see
you
it.
just
I'm
closed it.
Oh, I'm not sharing the screen. Sorry. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna say Sass,
Oh, jeez, these are horrible picks.
James, William. I don't know Ralph or Ben, so
Well, we can take a look at Ralph here. Let me. Sorry, I gotta fucking figure out how to do this. What the fuck?
You're completely lost. Where's your ability to be a programming expert?
This guy. This is Ralph Farah.
Okay.
Nice physique, a little on the smaller side, but good physique.
And then what about Ben Rafa?
Ben Rafa.
Who's Ben Rafa?
Rafaela.
Got a good physique.
Rafaela.
I think he was
Rafaela.
here somewhere. Where the fuck did I put him? No, he's not. Okay.
Let me see who he's searching for. Where are the porn sites?
There's no point. Fuck off. This is Ben Rafaela. He looks pretty good.
The Super Gym. Montari Bros.
He's good. He's got a good package.
Is there any shot of him on a stage?
No, he just started his Instagram again, so it's just all these photos.
That close-ups.
It's pretty balanced. I like his physique. He's a little smaller.
Yeah, but yeah, you can't say
Don't tell Freeman.
how big he is, you know.
Well, here he is next to somebody.
Getting dwarfed. He goes twice as wide as him. Fuck. Don't post that.
Okay, go.
Come back. I'll do 5 to 8 in a second.
Okay, where's James? Is he in here yet? There's Stefan. What do you want?
Do I really need to do that?
Yes. Wait, let me add James. Okay. Where the fuck did James go? There he is.
Yeah.
Okay, James, you want to go?
Yeah.
Here's the guys here.
I've got to back myself. I need to come in with that mentality. So I've got to put myself in first.
Okay.
Sass in second.
Sass.
Yeah. And then Gordon in third.
Wow.
You forget William.
I know.
Oh shit.
No,
Fuck.
I didn't forget William. Ron's fucking special. I'm telling you what.
No. Do you know what? I'll put Ron down one, William in third. I think Sass is looking great. I'm sticking to Sass.
Ron's a Mr. Olympia competitor. I'm telling you, watch.
You're gonna get smoked, Ben.
No, standing on it.
Go ahead. He's
Um,
Ben's only saying that because he's a tall guy and he likes tall guys.
And then it's got to be Carlos.
Carlos.
Yeah. And then that's my top 5.
Ben's projecting.
What, a 6'3" black guy? Go to William. Wait, not William.
We
Go
did
to
speak about
Ron.
him, didn't we? We spoke about him when we went to Whole
I'm
Foods.
telling you, man. And he
Who's
put
six?
his legs up. Just put Ron. Just
1
give
second.
Ron some love.
Who's number 6?
To be fair, the rest are all good. I don't really have an order. I feel like it could be anyone's. So I'm
Well,
just
Pick
let's
someone.
go. Let's go, Justin.
Justin.
Yeah. Let's go. Rafala. Rafala, is it?
Rafala.
Yeah. Then Ben. No, Ben is Rafala. Sorry, there's another Raf, isn't there?
Ralph.
Yeah, Ralph. So do Ralph.
Ralph Farah.
Who's left?
Aaron Golly and Walter Martin.
Yeah, Walter Martin and Gurley. Because I don't know any of them. Sorry, guys.
Stefan, what do you want to do?
Can I have William and James tie?
No. You have to piss somebody off.
It's fine. I get it.
James, William,
James, William,
Sassan,
Sassan.
Sleeping on Ron.
the black tall one.
The black tall one. Now
Then
the
the
black
black short one.
Not the black short one.
The black one with big quads.
Yeah.
let's do Iron.
Aaron Golly. Okay, that's a good pick.
Then Carlos. Then the guy we just looked, Ben Raffala.
Yeah.
Justin White.
Yeah.
What's missing? Just one?
Walter Martin and Ralph Farah.
Walter Martin, I have no idea how he looks. And then Ralph.
Here. This is Walter Martin right here.
Okay, can't see anything. Can't see anything.
What do you mean you can't see anything?
I can't see anything. Okay, Ralph and then him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had him in 9th, and after seeing him, you put him in 10th. That's not good.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, Ben, you have to finish yours.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Aaron Gordy, Carlos, Justin.
Aaron, Carlos, Justin.
Who am I missing?
Walter, Ben, and Ralph. Walter, Martin, Ben Raffala, and Ralph Farah.
Ralph 8th.
Ralph 8th. Your
Ben.
picks are horrible.
Oh, hang on. Wait.
No,
Who was
too
the
late.
guy? No, hang on.
You always change everything.
Who was the guy that was training up at the Montanari?
That's Ben Raffala.
Okay, him.
Okay.
Why are you fucking laughing? I'm still winning.
I think that Ben Raffala can be a surprise if he's has size.
I'm not laughing at the pick. I'm laughing at Stefan. He's so
What?
bad.
You
got Walter and Ralph left.
Give it.
Ralph
Everything.
9, and then Walter 10.
Okay. All right.
Just click on Ron, will you please? Just humor me.
Ben's so hard
telling
on Ben's so hard on Raw.
I'm telling you, this guy's 6'2".
Listen, he's got
the
the
tall
bicep.
black
He's
one.
got the biceps and shoulders of a Mr. Olympia.
But no triceps and quads.
Boys.
Ben, he's got a really nice physique. It's actually
Yeah, it is.
It's actually very, very nice. But
His back is crazy good, and his hamstrings. Look,
it's
it's
not.
a bit questionable, but we'll live with it. James, you might be right.
I might be right.
you know what I mean.
I just got to back myself for this one because I feel like I come in a lot better. So I
Look
think
at that back. That back double he's well put together.
He has a cool style, definitely.
And he comes in shape. He won the most conditioned last year, I'll show you.
He was super conditioned. I know.
Yeah, I'm
He
telling you,
really
he's my
is able
dark
to do
horse.
that.
He's my. I bet you, if he doesn't win Detroit, he's good enough to win a show this year.
Look at you already backpedaling.
No. I'm not backpedaling. I think he'll win Detroit. But if he doesn't, I would back money he gets to the Olympia this year.
Okay, I'll take that.
Oh,
bet.
it's getting more stacked and more stacked. Even the
I'll take that. I'll take that secondary bet.
We already have over. We have a single bet. After the first bet is done, we'll discuss the second bet.
You're
I'm not betting anymore
You're
with
so
him.
quick to crown people as Olympians, and I'm like, you just so easily throw it out there. Like,
I think he can win a pro show. That's nothing egregious.
You mean a Patrick Moore pro show?
I didn't say it.
What?
I
Was
think
that so bad?
listen, I think Ron has a beautiful physique. I think he's got his work cut out for him because, and for people, just so I'm not being disrespectful, I think he's got a very beautiful physique. I think when you're 6'3", there are a lot of gaps that need to be filled out. So you have your legs.
That's so tall. Yeah.
You know, it's like when you look at Jamie Johal. A physique can be beautiful and still not fit bodybuilding criteria perfectly. So I think that's kind of the category I put Ron Gordon in. It's a very beautiful physique, but when you look at bodybuilding criteria, you put him next to somebody like James or William or Sassan, it starts to expose a lot of the gaps in somebody.
You're also comparing his physique to a year ago, you know?
Yeah.
Or not
right.
not you. I'm just saying like the
No, you're right. I am. I'm going.
I think the most dangerous person in this lineup potentially is Sass.
Yeah, I also think so.
He's definitely the trickiest one. Yeah.
It's just now a case of how does he stack up?
Yeah.
You know, his comeback show, his condition, I was there, was world class. It was world class. It was just what held him back last year was the difference from front to back.
Yeah,
not condition-wise, muscle-wise.
Yeah, his back was down this year.
That was the issue, but his condition and the package he brought on stage was completely superb.
I want to show people Sassan because I'm
really superb.
He's not as popular. He's not as popular as, so I want to show some of the younger people that maybe don't know Sassan because he hasn't competed as much. But this is a beautiful physique, and this is what I mean. And this is what I mean about gaps. Like when he's just standing there, you know, the adductors fill in, the sweep is nice, it matches the shoulders, the arms fill in the gap, like the waist is nice and small, the chest hangs low, like the traps finish the shoulder, like all of this is zero gaps.
And Sass isn't afraid to get in shape. You
know, and then when he gets into his pose, you see like the fucking lats frame the body really nice. Like he's not missing anything.
He's in shape though, man. Like, that's the kind of shape that I wish every bodybuilder was in that shape.
His side leg is beautiful. It's thick. The hamstring hangs deep. He's got some of the best legs out.
Look at that.
Also, the quality of his quads is insane.
Yeah, he's got some of the best quads there is.
He doesn't. It's funny. He doesn't squat, right, James? He hasn't squatted in like.
Does a lot of just does a lot of single leg press.
Look at that. When you look at everything, right? Hamstring, quad, everything like fits together perfectly. The tricep fits together the shoulder. Like the lat sinks right into the hip. Like there's really nothing. The calves match the fucking hamstrings. Look at that.
He's a good he poses well too with it.
That's
a vet. Look at his side leg. With a fucking hamstring drop is crazy.
He really is
rear delt. Look at the rear delt.
Rear delt cap. Fucking into the tricep.
Like good arms, the chest.
There's nothing missing. Nothing.
Nope.
And then from the back, he's great too.
Just the double by from the back is. I don't know how it's looked now, but on stage that was his visible problem at that specific show.
The only thing I can pick out is the adductors could be a little thicker.
I think he got 4th at that show, something like that. I think.
Arms are crazy as well.
Oh, that's his most problem.
That needs to be fixed.
I think that's a mobility thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Also, he's posing in that hallway, which looks he's having trouble even posing in that hallway.
Yeah, but I don't.
But you can see he's in fucking shape.
I don't think it's a width thing though, Ben. I think he's actually having problems bringing his hands back.
Or he finished getting into it? Is he finished? He hasn't finished.
No, that was it. And it was the same on stage. That was the problem.
I was waiting for him to get and open up. Yeah.
It looked uncomfortable, like he was having trouble like rotating.
And that's one of Ron's strongest poses. His back double.
This is what I'm talking about.
I remember exactly the placing. 4th or 5th, I think.
In Spain? Was it Spain or?
Yeah, it was Spain. The show William won.
Yeah. Shit, I remember seeing him The last show I actually saw him was the Cali Pro. I think Nathan won that. He got second, right, James?
Yeah, 2018.
Yeah.
It was a good
The
show.
last time I
They
last
both
time
look
I
really
saw
good. I
him
would
in
have either way. I think the Ashel's a little bit better condition, but smaller than he normally is. And then he did New York, because he did New York the week before, where he was really fucking massive. And then yeah, Sass was just like a good balance of size and condition, but Nathan was just that little bit too hard. Delts were like
Detroit's going to be a good show. I think we got the classic side of things should be pretty good too. There's a lot of classic guys doing it. We have that Jack Eagles kid. He's 22
yeah,
years
he's very
old.
good.
And
British.
Wesley is doing it.
Wesley and Matt Grego are doing it.
Wesley
Oh.
is now.
Yeah, Wesley is.
Yeah, he talked to me already.
He wants to to erase that sickness that sickness issue. Still, then there will be a break, but he wants
Just
to
it
get
done.
back where he was before
That's good.
fluting everything.
I want to show people this kid real quick.
Jack's really good. He's on the easy ESN as well. Stefan.
Jack's a problem, man. I'm telling you. I was in Spain. Stefan, you were at the show when he turned pro, right? The Europa last year.
So for people
he's
watching,
a problem.
Jack is 22 years old and fucking
Still, with classic guys, it's even more. You need to see alone. They sometimes look incredible because of the bone structure, but then you need to see them really between the top ones, and then very often they tend to be really too small. So from that perspective and alone, incredible.
I tell you what,
Yeah.
what's good about Jack is he's got really good stage presence too. He's confident when he poses. Like
I don't know.
He really carries himself well on stage, and I think that goes on, especially in classic. I think that goes a long way.
You know what? I don't know how big he is. If you stand him next to Wesley, or if you stand him next to,
he's
Matt.
a shorter athlete.
I know, but I'm saying muscularity wise, I don't know how big he is, but honestly, that's one of my favorite physiques. Like I would put him in like that's a top 10 Olympian in my opinion.
He is. I can see him if he gets a show win under his belt, he could make top 10. I think. But he could be in that 8, 9, 10th.
I'm only reserving that comment only because I don't know, like Stefan said, I don't know what he looks like on stage size wise. But judging from his photos by himself, like his shape and structure and proportions, that physique is pretty fucking wild, man. He's not missing anything. So, and then Matt Grego decided to jump into, and so did Wesley. So we kind of have a little bit of a repeat of I heard some rumblings of Logan, but I don't know if that ever panned out or not.
Backstage was clear not.
No way.
Logan's not doing it.
I think it'd be a good show for Logan to do, man. Get in, walk in, get your Olympia qualification, and take a rest.
They're away.
Oh, okay.
They're traveling.
Well, aside from those three, I know there's a lot of other classic guys signed up, so the classic show should be pretty good too. And
yeah, there's a guy from the Andre. I forget his name. We met him in the gym on Sunday for the shoot he's doing.
Wait, I just gonna show you something. You know, Wesley after the Arnold's, I gave him a complete rest because he was sick and all of that stuff. I just gonna show you today first training.
Oh, sorry, I have to allow you to share it. Go ahead.
Today first training.
That's your car.
Yeah, wait, I need to go here. How do I
While you're trying to figure that out,
one?
I'm just going to answer. Brood Wayne says, will the Detroit Pro have a live stream? Yes, the Detroit Pro will have a live stream, and it is free.
On this channel, right? Are you doing it here?
Yeah. We're going to have it located in two separate places. We're going to have it on my YouTube channel and on a separate link, only because one will allow music and one won't. So if you want to just watch it on my YouTube channel, you can. Or we'll have a separate link where the quality might be a touch better and the music won't be copyrighted. So we'll have two links for people to watch it for free.
That's now just recovered.
I can't see it. It's too far away.
What you can see?
Make it bigger. Make it bigger. Hit Command plus.
Command plus?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are really that motherfucking.
Are you on a Mac?
Internet, yeah.
Hit Command plus.
I do. Nothing happens.
You have your touchpad. Do you have a mouse like a touchpad? Just
do
this with it, like
Yeah, but it doesn't
Zoom.
do anything.
You should just send me the photo and let me share it.
Yeah, I do it. I'm too dumb. You're just
So are you saying are you saying he looks better?
yeah, he looks like he looked for left eye a lot. You know, he went down from 115 on Friday to 108 on Monday.
All water weight gone.
Yeah, it was like heavy diuretic motherfucking shit with that huge diarrhea.
Did you get to the bottom of what you reckon it was, food-wise, or was it anything in particular? Was there anything in particular that made him sick?
I think his son was sick. And you know, with children, it always goes fast.
Let me see here. I just picked one of the 4 you sent me.
Yeah, just one of them. And now I'm gonna see if you can do it bigger.
How does that look?
Is that bigger now? Okay. Yeah, you can do it. I can't. Good. You see that the body is back alive,
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
completely different. And it's just was rest, nothing else, you know, just rest.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks good. Well, we'll see. He's gonna have to compete against Grego, who beat him already. And then who
Yeah.
knows? I'm excited to see how Jack does against the older guys. Or the veterans, I guess.
Listen, Matt's pretty young, isn't he? How old's Wesley? They're both pretty young.
Well,
No,
I don't mean
Wesley 30, I think.
I don't mean older. I mean like vet because they're more, they've been around a little longer than Jack. Jack's it's his first show, so I'm excited to see how he does. Okay, let's do some questions and then we'll go. Excuse me. Actually, one quick question before, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. Me and Ian argued for about 30 minutes on the last podcast about this. I just want to see what your guys' opinion is. If you were looking at Mike Sommerfeld and you were looking at Logan and just those 2 guys, and you had to pick who was more classic, who would you pick?
Still Mike, I think. I can't deal with that. That is classic or that is not classic. Really.
You don't like that conversation, eh?
Nah. Mike,
You know why? Because you don't like intangibles. You need data points that you can say his back is this, his legs are this, is that. And when you say something is artistic or statuesque, that doesn't mean anything to you.
You
So
know,
you
Logan poses great, and because of that, he gets that extreme classic look,
Yeah.
you know. But still, when we would consider as classic look waist to clavicles, Mike is just insane. I think Mike's waist to clavicles is he's just not tall. That's the only thing.
For me, that's not the only criteria. But like I said, I don't want to get into a massive argument.
Yeah.
I just want to get what you guys think. Ben, what do you think?
It's really difficult to compare the 2 and not give it to Mike in every situation because he, like I said, the shape is crazy. He poses his physique very, very well, and he has so much more density and pop to him, especially in the back shots. Like it's too much. The conditioning, like Logan's conditioning was outstanding, but Mike's was crazy good too. Mike, he was on point. So I think Mike was a clear winner all day in that show.
Yeah.
There's no wait. That's not the discussion because I'm not saying by any stretch that Mike shouldn't have won based on today's criteria. What I'm saying is classic.
Let me answer another way.
Just 1 second. The way they judge classic right now is very simply, they judge it like bodybuilding, but you have to fit the weight cap.
Yeah, okay. Let me answer it another way. If Logan has to make weight in the same manner that Mike would do, so that he's holding more muscularity to him, Logan is the more classic physique.
I don't know what that means. Say that again.
If Logan had to make weight in the same way that Mike does, because Mike is overweight, right? He has to cut down to make weight. Logan doesn't. Logan walks in on weight.
Right.
So if Logan has that extra density to him on that frame that he has, he'd then be pushing Mike down, in my eyes, in terms of what a classic physique.
See, my opinion is both of you, Stefan and Ben, are still judging it as a bodybuilding show. And in that regard, you guys are both 100% right. I don't look at classic like bodybuilding, and I think that's
I look at it more like pageant.
It's like this. It's like, I mean, here's Chris's comments.
I can imagine Logan Franklin on the front cover of a fucking movie poster. Like,
this is Chris Bumstead. In my opinion, that's the most classic look out there. Talking about Logan. And it's because I don't look at classic like smaller bodybuilders. If I did, Mike would by hands down be the fucking most classic guy. I look at it more as lines and flow above everything else. So
yeah, but especially lines and flow with Mike is incredible. You know,
it's incredible, but not the same as Logan.
Yeah, but you know, Logan's waist to shoulder ratio is, for example, not that good as Mike's. Logan from the back, his flow, you know, he goes quite straight from the back.
He's not does not have an exaggerated X frame. I'll give you that.
But that's what that goes back to my point.
He has incredible good face, and the way he poses is very aesthetic, and he's taller. I think you just
so you think
give
I'm
the
in love
body
with,
hate.
so
No,
you
the
think,
body hate.
You think I'm in love with his face? Is that what you're saying?
No, with his face in combination with
You don't like short
how
people.
tall he is.
No,
You just hate short
it's
people.
Not, it's not short. No, wait. I'll tell you why that's wrong. Terrence Ruffin is short. I would say Terrence Ruffin is more classic than Mike. It's not
Because,
that.
but
It's the
why?
proportions and the density of the muscle, the shape of them. It looks more like a 212 guy to me than a classic guy.
Okay, but
That's
listen,
why.
if you add the density, if you take my scenario, which is have Logan add that extra width and density into his upper body, especially, now his lines start to compare and that taper starts to match up.
Guys, if we're talking about specific criteria like shoulder to waist ratio and body parts proportions being equal, I already told you, I agree with you. Mike is the fucking guy.
You're just like, what do I think classic looks like?
What I'm saying is like, and I tried to explain, it's hard to explain because it's
I know what he wants to say. He wants to say the classic guy needs to be skinnier.
No, well, it's partially, yeah. I don't think I don't think the classic look is a dense, overly muscled look. I don't.
You think skinnier?
Like when I look at Ramon, Ramon has a very athletic, long, lean, but still round muscle. It's not very dense.
Yeah, but all of those, I think the height to weight ratio is off because when you're under that 5'9" height limit, it doesn't. The guys over look stringier,
right?
Even though they're making the weight cap, the ratio is not the same. I
think it's as simple as this. I think it's as simple as this. Go back to Prague. Look at what Chris looked like in that lineup, and there's a reason Martin won. Chris looked classic in an open lineup.
Yeah. So it's skinnier.
It's that look. It's a slight. It's a slighter look.
It's a slimmer look. A slimmer look. I understand what you mean.
Look at Mike. Look at Ramon. Look at Terrence. They're the shorter. Look at Brion. They're the shorter classic guys that have to make their weight.
But those guys aren't.
They have a denser look than the taller guys. Though.
No, those guys are not.
They do.
Okay, they do.
Yes,
but they do. But those physiques that you just named are not all the same. Mike,
I didn't say that. Wait, I didn't say the same. What I'm saying is that the height and weight ratio after a certain point is not enough. I don't think it's in proportion all the way through the heights. Is what I'm saying.
That's fine.
I actually think the shorter guys are actually still a bit too heavy.
That's
what I'm saying. Let's say if Mike had to be even a little bit lighter, then I think the structure would be a bit more reserved.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I think the shorter guys should have a lower weight cap than what they've currently got because they're holding more tissue on their frame than the taller guys that have.
That's where they're like 212.
I just want to answer this question. It says,
sure.
Fouad, you still have this idea that the next classic guy should resemble Chris. Mike is still classic, just in a different way. I 100% agree with that. Mike is classic in a different way. It's more of a bodybuilding way than an artistic way. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like when I look
as dense, I think that's also a word which would
When I
would
look
fit
at
it. It shouldn't be
when,
that dense,
when I look at
that
Chris,
compact.
if you look at Chris, if I look at Urs, if I look at Ramon, if I look at Terrence, if I look at Logan, these guys are not, they're heavily muscled, but it doesn't look thick and dense.
Well, that's what I like
like a
about
bodybuilder.
Wesley. That's actually what I like about
Wesley,
Wesley. I
right.
feel like Wesley is, for me, Wesley's been the criteria in my eyes for classic for a long time because I have that preference of them being slighter.
Right.
So there's a
Yeah,
differentiation
but
between, so there's a difference between them and open in their look, not just their.
Well, and I think
he
that's
just
why
doesn't have balance though.
I think that's why Chris said what he said, because I think Chris is the standard for classic.
Yeah,
And I said this to Ian, and he sees it. I think he's seeing the beauty of the physique more so than the proportions of the
for sure,
physique.
for sure.
So
Yeah, I understand now.
and that's a hard thing to judge because then it becomes more subjective. So you have no
For sure.
like,
There's no
you have-
lines.
yeah, there's no data point to
Yeah.
judge by. It's more now, well, what do I think the look is?
You just look at somebody and go, fuck, they're classic as fuck.
Yeah, it's like it's
I
hard
think
to,
Mike benefited nearly the most from the new limit because he was able to I think
Get under it,
2
yeah.
kilo or something more, and that's really visible because
But that's what I mean,
before he
I-
also had to beat him into the limit, and the look was completely different.
And that's the thing, Mike's winning
Right.
because Mike's winning, like Fouad said, because he's kind of being judged a little bit like bodybuilding because he actually has more muscle than the other guys in his category.
Yeah.
But he also
Right.
has good lines. So if you
And
took
that's
away
what
that,
I'm-
if you took away that difference in how much muscle you can have and had everyone with the same amount of muscle, then who would be Mr. Olympia in that category?
That's what I mean. Like inch per inch, as they move up through the weight category,
Means less.
it's not. Yeah, I don't know whether it's the weight of the skeleton is actually
But
weighing more than the
Ben,
muscle mass.
a pound on someone in the 5 foot ranges versus a pound or whatever on the person that's 6 foot.
Yeah,
It looks so
the
different.
ratio. I honestly, I think the shorter guys, their weight ratio is too inflated. I
Yeah,
think they should have a lower
They're
cap.
allowed to be a little bit heavier.
hey guys, I'm
Yeah.
gonna move on to these questions. This guy, what's his fucking name? Jugoff, Ian's friend.
Oh,
Ian's friend.
Julian.
Julian, that's it. Julian says, "Is Kennedy the new open pro with the most potential?" And I'm
Colossus Ken.
gonna
Colossus
say,
Ken
Kennedy,
was,
yeah.
I'm gonna-
He's got a lot
I'm-
of potential. He's doing New York.
He's in my fantasy draft. I put him straight in.
yeah, he's phenomenal.
He's got that build like a 212, but he's open.
Can I tell you guys something that's crazy?
Oh.
Before he signed with Animal, I was already in talks with him, and it wasn't in the budget, but I wanted to sign him so badly because I knew this was going to fucking happen.
Yeah.
I knew when he turned pro, because this is what he looked like when he turned pro. I'm like, this is going to be a
Yeah,
phenomenal.
we looked at him, didn't we? We looked at him. I
Yeah,
remember.
we had we already looked at it.
He's really
Look at
good.
this. Look at this fucking back on him. Jesus.
Yeah, he's got great. Well, I met him. I saw him at the Arnold actually, and we caught up.
Like this is good condition for 11 weeks, man.
Oh, dude! Like, if you look at the glutes, they're already boxy.
Yeah. He's going to be good. He's going to be really
He's
good.
got a lot of tissue, a lot of muscle he's put on.
Yeah,
So yes, I would say that's the newest pro with the most potential. Anybody else that you guys
I
can
think
think of?
he's definitely one of the guys for the most. Yeah.
For
I
sure.
think Ron Gordon could be dangerous.
We know you're in love on Gordon. Get easy.
But I think he is like the new breakout for sure. What's he doing in New York?
Yeah.
Right?
Ivan Bodybuilding says, do you think anybody has the genetics to reach their weight cap in classic physique? I don't know what that means.
Don't understand what you mean.
Do you
Which
think
really means that they just maxed out, they would still be under the cap. So like looking like Ronnie Coleman, like a short. Could Sean? What's the limit to how much can you weigh? Is classic?
I don't even know
It
what the
depends
weights
on
are.
your height.
Yeah. So let's say he's taking like Sean is pretty maxed out. Let's be honest. He's one of the most muscled people on the planet. Would he be under the limit and still be able to do? Say, I'm going to do a classic show.
I don't know.
That's what I wonder. That's what
No,
he's trying to say.
surely.
Let
Surely
me
not.
see
Hold on.
what I'm gonna see what Sean.
Because imagine Sean tomorrow.
When
goes,
you
know
are
what?
super small, there is no limit. You have the limit of a taller person. I think that the shortest.
There's a
is
cutoff
one-
point.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
an
what is
interesting
the-
question.
Sean's doing classic this year.
He's under the cutoff. Imagine that.
I've heard
Yeah,
Sean's
yeah.
doing classic.
Wait. Let me see. That's
heard it here
really
first.
interesting. So we
There's
have
more money than
rules.
212. Why not?
Rules.
More
So
money than
we need
212.
men's classic. So the smallest you can be is 5'4",
And he's what?
5'1",
He's
Okay.
like four. I thought he was like
5'1".
4'11".
No, 4'1". And he is allowed to have 80.3 kilo. Yeah, he could dial in.
Yeah, he's like 20 pounds off, isn't he?
No, he could have
Oh.
one. For example, at the Arnold's, he had 182 pounds, and he would be allowed in classic to have 177 pounds.
Easy.
So like 5
Oh,
pounds.
he can make
Easy,
that. He
easy.
could easy make that.
He won his Olympia. He won his Olympia in
Put him in
212 with
put him in-
176.
Just for
Put
shits
him
and
in
giggles.
classic. Put him in classic. See what happens.
Because the reason being as well, classic. How much is the classic? Fucking. Not saying he's going to win because his shape's obviously a fucking body.
It's more than
But
than
there's more
212.
money in fucking classic.
But actually, he would fit the weight criteria.
Stefan, do you use cheat meals on athletes during prep?
Sometimes.
If so, how do you implement them, and what cheat meals do you usually use?
Different.
Different all the time? Do you let the
Yeah.
athlete choose, or do you choose?
No, very often the athlete. It depends which purpose is had, just to refill
okay.
or just have your wedding scenario
Okay,
or
let me ask
whatever.
you. Me and you are working
Uh-huh.
together,
Yeah.
and we're like we're like 8 weeks out, and I'm way ahead. Do you say
Pizza.
go have a meal off, or do you say go have a burger and fries?
You're way off?
No,
As you
I'm
are,
I'm ahead. I'm
Ahead,
ahead.
ahead.
I'm ahead. Yeah.
I tell you, go and get what you want, but don't fuck up your stomach.
Okay.
That's
What
the
if
bit
I
you
said,
find out.
that's like a double. Like you can't say that to him.
No ice cream.
If you come after and said, "Oh, my stomach is fucked up," I say it's your mistake.
is there
He's
a
like,
time?
but you'll say go have anything you want, but don't fuck up your stomach. He's like, there's nothing I want that doesn't fuck up my stomach. Is the answer you're gonna get.
The guy in the chat says, "For fuck's sakes, Fouad, here we go." All right, I'll stop talking about food. Fuck you guys. Okay.
Oh,
what's your-
I'm really shocked now. Sean could do classic.
listen. What's your thoughts on behind the neck presses for shoulders? I'm gonna have
I
such
just
a
did
bad,
them.
such a
I
bad
just did
take on
them.
this.
I actually really like them.
Oh, thank God, we're all the fucking.
I just did them like an hour and a half ago.
I
I
think
think
they're
if
great.
mobility allows, I'm like, I feel
I
it
need
most.
to screenshot that now.
I feel it a lot on my overall doubt. That feels good.
I honestly get more contraction out of my shoulders than any other press.
I've been using a pre-core one that's like basically that. It's a pre-core pin-loaded one. It's like back here.
It's already behind you. Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
that.
I got the flex leverage one that's behind you.
Yeah, that's
Kind of
great
pushes
as well.
back
That
there.
one's awesome too.
But
Yeah.
but I did that one, and then I went on the Smith and did an actual behind the neck too.
Kevin Levrone.
I think they're, to me, this is going to be controversial for sure, but to me, it's the same thing as like a flat bench. I get the most out of flat
Flat
bench.
bench kills everything for me.
Yeah, but they're also two of the most
Risky, yeah.
dangerous. Yeah, you could fuck up your shoulders and you can fuck up your chest.
Jamie is right. It's mobility, right? I have relatively healthy shoulders now, especially compared to when I was bigger. But I actually do a lot of like functional shoulder work to be able to do that. But
Yeah.
if you can do it, it's the same thing with squatting. I don't think everybody can and should squat. But I think if you have the mobility and the range and biomechanics to do it, it's a worthwhile exercise.
For sure.
If you're hanged up and you can't get in front and it's like we saw Sass, right? Sass can't get back here.
Yeah, no.
There's
That
no point buying
motherfucker,
it.
like, don't.
You know who told me
Don't
that? You know who gave me the best advice ever about lifting? Was Joe Bennett. You know what he said to me? And it made sense immediately when he said it. If you have to use the weight to
Get down, you have a problem.
If you have to use the weight to get the form right, it's not the right movement for you.
Yeah,
Remember,
you have a
Luke,
problem.
Luke was doing mention with him. Luke was asking money about how far to go. He said to the point where you don't have to pull it down.
Well,
Yeah.
what? Yeah,
So
what he
like
meant.
if you've
It's
got
like
like
the weight isn't like pushing you into the
Yeah,
position.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like what he meant.
But
by
you should
that-
be able to do it with an empty bar. You should be able to do it
Yes.
with nothing on the bar.
Yes, for people watching, that's what he meant. So if you have an empty bar and you can go down,
then
that's
fine.
great. If you have to put a plate on there or two to get it to go down, then
You're forcing it.
probably not the right fucking thing.
Mm.
But I'm surprised you guys agreed with me. Usually people are like so anti flat bench.
Mate, I used to do so many of them.
Yeah.
If you want, ask the question again. I'll happily disagree with you.
Just to create confidence.
Sean loves.
So is he up for it?
Yeah, he says, lol.
Can you do both? Will they let him do both?
No, there's that fucking rule. You just can do one
You gotta pick
division.
one. Yeah, yeah.
But imagine he could do classic to 12 and open, and he will.
Yeah,
He'd be
that'd be
the
pretty
best,
cool. Tell him to do
Yeah,
Detroit.
Yeah, well, he's in shape.
Tell him to come to Detroit.
Imagine. There's literally no one has ever done that. That'd be pretty special.
When training high volume pyramid style like Fouad and Jay, do you guys think the first and second sets of each exercise, which are the lightest, have a muscle growth effect? I'll answer my way, but you guys can answer first. Go ahead. So if you're doing a pyramid style where you're doing like, 1 through 4 sets and your weight is going up as you go, do sets 1 and 2 have a muscle growth effect?
Actually, everything you do will have a muscle growing effect.
Right.
It depends how you set it up and how intense it is in the end.
I think people look at it like those are throwaway sets, and to to some degree they are. But when I look at a gym session, I look at it as like a cumulative thing.
Yeah.
So like sets 1 and 2, and it depends if you believe in a pump and if the pump helps with hypertrophy and all that. I believe that. So like I'm using set 1 and 2 to drive blood and get the muscle primed for set 3 and 4 that are heavier and more failure. So I think do those sets by themselves in a vacuum create muscle growth? I
don't know if by themselves, but I think
and cumulatively,
they contribute for sure.
Yeah, as long as you have the rest of it, right?
Yeah.
It'd be the same thing as like doing a heavy set but stopping after 4. Is that creating muscle? No, you need the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th.
Right. Yeah, like that's why when people say like, should you do this or should you do that? It's always like a really tough thing to answer because in the scope of an entire workout, there's an athlete I'm about to sign, and I was just having this conversation with him. In the scope of a workout, you might do some really sloppy sets where like your form is shit, but you're going really, really heavy. And then you might have some sets where your form is absolutely fucking perfect and you're feeling like all the contraction in the world. You might have some sets that are 12 to 15 failure. Like maybe your 4th exercise is more of like an isolation exercise and you're failing at 12. And maybe your 2nd exercise is your meat and potatoes and you're failing at 6 or 8. Like all of these things can encompass one workout.
That's how I always try to treat it. I think that diversity is I think that's like fundamental, 1 for actually getting results, but 2 also for remaining interested in what you're doing. So over a long period of time, training still remains fun.
I mean,
it's working physically, but it's also working mentally.
All those things can work. Like one misconception that people have with like say Luke and I think James too and me.
We only lifted heavy.
Yeah, and everyone's like, oh, they do rest pauses on all their sets, I'm like, no. Like the first 2 exercises are heavy, nasty compounds, and then as the workout shifts through into the later parts, we're doing sets of 4 sets of 12 to 15 that are more pumpy with shorter rest periods, but they're more isolation stuff. And everything. I'm telling you now, if you're doing like 2 working sets only on every exercise and you're going to forced reps and like doing like widowmakers or rest pauses, your CNS is not going to be able to handle that, especially if you're actually moving decent weight. Yeah, right. You have to be able to sustain and actually make the whole workout productive, not just the first 15 minutes.
John used to have the best philosophy on training, in my opinion. He used to say, your first exercise, he would always pick a machine exercise. He'd be like, this kind of primes your muscle. Your second exercise is your heavy exercise. That's your meat and potatoes. Then your 3rd exercise is your hypertrophy with a little bit more volume. And your 4th exercise is your isolation. And that was the scope of all of his training. So if you're training chest, your first exercise would be machine press. Then you'd move into like your heaviest incline press, barbell press, whatever. Then you go to another machine. Then you finish with like a cable fly. So it all made very, very good. Like it made a lot of sense to me always.
Yeah.
But within that, you had different rep ranges. Like your meat and potatoes might be 6 to 8, and your hypertrophy might be like 8 to 12. So when people say like, "Oh, is it better to do this? Is it better to do that?" It's a cumulative. It's a very cumulative thing.
And then you actually start to feel it also. How many reps? It's kind of.
But then on top of that as well. Sorry, go on, Stefan. You explained to Fouad what he means.
What do you mean by that?
No, for example, let's take something. You need to groove into an exercise.
Right.
It doesn't just start feeling good. It takes a few.
Right.
And then you feel what, especially if you are advanced and trained for 20 years, the people just feel what gives them the best answer.
Right.
Sometimes it's more reps, sometimes it's less reps. You shouldn't just only think on, I need to do that or I need to do that.
Yeah.
It's funny, we always used to start with, say for chest, we'd do like a cable fly. And it might be like 5 or 6 sets of 12 to 20 reps.
Yep. Just warming up.
Like,
just getting the blood flowing.
Then all of a sudden we're on bench with 4 plates aside. Right.
Go ahead, James. Sorry, you're trying to say
No,
something.
no, it's cool. I was just saying because another reflection as well is like training and how often to rest. Because one thing I was like even debating today, and I was thinking it's like, a lot of the time I feel like I force myself to rest when I don't really need to, and then other times it can be the other way around. But then I'm kind of like, well, it all comes down to what your training setup is, doesn't it? So if your training setup suits that you're not really overlapping things too much, you can train pretty frequent as long as you're not like going 2 balls to the wall.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because I remember Justin Compton, like out of all people, he would only take a rest as and when he felt he needed it.
Yeah.
So he was doing 7-day weeks, but he was just making sure everything he was training it wasn't connected to the previous. So he was just kind of always fresh and just training through because he enjoyed training for his mental state.
Yeah.
And then when he did eventually get to the point where he's like, you know what, I need a rest day, he just took it.
Yeah. Well,
and what's your thoughts? What's all your thoughts on that? Because
Brad,
I'm kind of mentally like that right now.
I had Brad Schoenfeld on the podcast probably 2 years ago, who's for people who don't know, is an exercise scientist, strength and conditioning scientist. I don't know what the exact title would be, but he's written books on strength and conditioning. They do a lot of studies on them. He was saying that I shouldn't say the number one, I don't want to misquote him. One of the most important things in hypertrophy is frequency. So he was saying like guys who are training their hamstrings like 3 times a week were getting the most out of it. But the only rule was they could not be sore when they were training them. So this kind of coincides with what John's philosophy always was. John wanted me to train six. John would say train 6 days a week, but 2 of them have to be pump days. The problem with that is a lot of bodybuilders don't know how to scale back and have a pump day. So they go in there and it's supposed to be a pump day and they end up going fucking balls to the wall and then they get burned out. Yeah. If you have enough wherewithal or discipline to go in and train at 70% a couple days a week, then you can go 100% on the other 4, and you get more and you get more frequency.
But then I also think with even the setup that we were just discussing then, John's standard setup of training, I feel like if you do that, but you also then don't overlap body parts too much, that you can still recover enough. I don't know what your thoughts on that, Stefan, are. Like,
I would grab on especially what Fouad says. It's really hard when you have a competitive sports mentality to get that done right. And I would say in most cases it's better to not train
take it
than
off,
to because it's really tough.
Well, that's
you only.
Sorry, go ahead, Ben.
I was going to say I've always gone back to you only grow from what you recover from, and what you said there is like, if you're not sore, then so be it. And that's where like that reps and reserve stuff I can see
merits
which I can't do. My brain doesn't
that's not
doesn't marry to that. So I have to just go, I'm training these days hard because I know I can recover by then. So that's what works for me.
And this is why John eventually said to me, just stop, because I tried it his way and I kept getting burned out. And John eventually was like, listen, man, just take 2 days off a week. You can't, you don't know how to moderate your training.
Yeah, because Samson trains 6 days, doesn't he?
He does?
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, his body seems to handle it well, and that's
why it's that question.
But this guy here, Kendall Owen, says, I base it off of feeling, don't overthink it. That's also very tricky. You can have chronic fatigue or chronic overtraining and not fucking know it. Like there's a thing where, let's say I want to go to the gym every day because I don't like taking a rest. I can convince myself that I'm fine, and I can change around body parts in a way that I'm not sore, and I can drink a pre-workout every fucking time, and it'll wake me up, and I'll have a fucking great training session.
And it constantly built up.
Yeah, but that
and then you're fucked.
That chronic overtraining is always there, and eventually you end up fucking your appetite, fucking your libido, fucking your recovery, and you don't even know what's happening because it's so slow over a period of weeks and months.
And what are we? We're so used to and conditioned to, like, especially in a prep, I'm supposed to be tired. I'm supposed to be beat up. Like, I can't use that as a fucking marker to tell me to take a rest day because I wouldn't train all fucking week at that rate.
Right. That's why some guys, if you tell them to train 4 days a week and you do like a Dorian Yates style, maybe not Dorian Yates style training, but like just that 4 day a week off season, that's why some guys make the most gains with those 4 days because they're forced to stay home and fucking rest and eat.
I'm telling you, when I get a guy that is like a bigger guy, one of the open guys, I scale them back to 4 days a week. Once they're in their off season and they're moved, just existing at 300 pounds, I'm like, it's a lot of stress on your body.
Listen,
Rest.
I've done it. I'll tell you this: every fucking training session was 1,000% because
Yeah.
I hated being at home. So being forced to stay home and eat, I would go to the gym. First of all, my muscles would be totally full, and my mind would be totally sharp because I wanted to be there.
But the other thing as well is like, especially with guys like that. I mean, Neil Austin, one of the hostile guys that I coach, he's a prime example of this. He's in great condition at 300 pounds, eating so much food. If he trains more than 4 days a week, you know how much food he's going to metabolize through.
Yeah.
Whereas now he's taking rest days. His caloric output for the week is lower. I now don't have to just ram him full of food to try and keep him ahead. He stays ahead and he stays in that growth progression phase.
Maria asks, does Hostile sell a non-stim pre-workout? We do. It's called Bloodshot. There's no stim, but it's packed full of everything else. It's better than anything that ESN makes. I'm just joking. Stefan didn't even hear me, or he's mad.
No, I just read the message.
Okay. We'll do a couple more questions and then we'll go. Would you rather give up desserts or cheese?
Cheese, easy.
Cheese.
Oh, wait. Not easy. Think about
easy. There's only one.
Not easy.
I don't like cheese. I don't like cheese
at all.
Cheese is very easy compared to the amount of desserts that are out there.
Yeah.
You guys are so angry.
Fuck me, man. How much cheese is there really?
James, think about you're taking away pizza. I can't take away pizza.
That's right, mate. We can make alternatives.
I would rather have pizza than dessert.
No.
I would.
I'm the same with you.
I can't.
I'm not very often, but I'm on your side for it.
Are we talking about cheese in America and North America? Because
no, you fucking snob. We're talking about good cheese.
Sure, we can make some sort of pizza alternative. To be fair, I like a burger without cheese in anyway, so fuck it.
I like a burger without cheese. I can do a burger without cheese, but I can't do pizza without cheese. Even though
you could think,
could they be an alternative?
My life, I won't worry.
I don't know. Think about it.
Camembert and bread.
If you took away all the desserts, I would be less diabetic.
It's true. So maybe it would help.
Yeah, I'd rather go with cheese.
Cheese is wonderful.
Cheese is wonderful. Think about it.
No, cheese is wonderful, really.
I think cheese is more for the retired bodybuilders.
Can you name one moment of wow, I made it? James, can you name one moment where you said, wow, I made it?
No, because I don't have that mindset.
I have one. When I got my first Muscle Tech contract, I was like, fucking right. I got
paid. That was a cool time. Muscle Tech was so cool.
I was like, I'm getting paid
Muscle Tech.
Listen, I'm getting paid to No, it wasn't because it was Muscle Tech. It was because I was like, I'm getting paid to bodybuild.
Was there any advertising with you in a doctor suit? No, with that laboratory and that stuff?
I was in a lot of the ads, but never in a doctor's, not in a lab coat. Like Fouad is 3,000% stronger after drinking Celtec. Yeah, I did what I did.
Scientific studies proved.
Yeah. That's how me and my wife met. Me and my wife, because she was doing the research and development for Muscle Tech.
And said your penis is going 7,000%.
Actually, I showed her my penis by accident. No, they developed a product called Halo or some shit, and it had to. I had to go do an MRI, and you would do the MRI, then you would drink the product, and then do the MRI again. And it would see what it did to your body. So anyway, I met her there. That's how I met her. But that's when I got my first Muscle Tech contract, and I was like, I felt like I kind of made it because I was getting paid to do what I love.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, isn't it?
James, you don't have a moment where you looked around, and you're like, this is pretty fucking.
I haven't had my moment yet.
Really?
Not for me. There's something coming. It's not yet.
Even when you did the Olympia, you didn't sit back there and go, I'm at the fucking Olympia.
Not yet.
You know, I got last place at my Olympia. I remember sitting back. I still remember. I can vividly remember it like it was yesterday. There was blue lights back there. It was like really dark with blue lights. I remember sitting on a bench. I can't remember who was sitting to the right of me, but we were all wearing our tracksuits before we went out to the press conference. And I remember looking around going, I'm at the fucking Olympia.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like you though, but I'm so fucking hard on myself, bro. So therefore, it's just hard for me to feel that way.
Dude, you need to fucking lighten up. You need to enjoy. Listen, you need to enjoy the ride.
Fucking joint, bro.
You need to enjoy the ride because the ride is short.
I know, I know. I'm trying, but I also just there's this bit of faith in me. There's this. I know it's weird. There's just this little thing in me, this little sound that's like you're gonna have your moment that you're actually fighting for. It's just not quite there yet.
I know, but if you keep thinking that way, what if you miss the fucking whole moment?
I can't miss. I'm not allowed to. I'll get it. I'll get it. I promise. I'm on my
No,
way.
but
I promise.
what I'm saying to you.
Well, look,
Listen,
this
listen.
I will say, you know, like I said before we spoke, this Arnold was the first one where I felt very, you know, in the moment. But
What I'm trying to say to you is this, and this is probably some psycho babble, and I forgive me for not knowing anything I'm talking about. What if this whole thing is your moment and you're missing it because you're waiting for some specific,
I know.
you know?
It could be, bro. That's the nature of it. That's just unfortunately, it's just the nature of my personality.
Yeah.
It's,
If that's the case, I'm going to tell you if that is the case for me, it's disappointing.
You're like, my moment sucks.
It's that really? That was it?
the funny thing is, my moment isn't actually a show; it's a look. My moment is I could do Detroit, let's say, in a few weeks' time, and there's this one fucking shot that I'm really proud of. Out of everything, one shot. I'm like, that was all what I did all this bodybuilding for. Is that one shot?
You know what? I can agree with that.
I kind of remember. I don't know. I had this for you in a weird way. I think it was the Yamamoto Cup when you did your back double bicep, and I was like, it was nasty. It was that. It
Not
was
Tsunami Cup, Tsunami Cup, or
sorry, it was the second show you won.
yeah, the third. That's the Tsunami.
It was the
Tsunami.
France one, right?
Yeah, when you turned to the back and hit a back double, and I was like, that's just nasty. It was just fucking crazy. That for me, like I was like, wow, James is like. James
I didn't even feel
like,
very good at that.
I
thought I was overfilled at that show. I filled myself up so much. I was like, man, I'm gonna sweat and like look like a sack of shit. But I was bursting full.
You were bursting full. And you were hard as nails.
I was, I was bursting.
Say Kai does come back and do the Masters and beats Brandon. Where would that put him at the Olympia? Like top 8?
That doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't happen.
You have a hard time beating Brandon. Brandon still
No,
looks
it doesn't happen.
Well, I can't say never.
Mm.
You want to bet on
Brandon still has that fresh look.
You want to bet on it?
Oh, that I would bet, really.
Oh, that one you'll bet.
Oh, that one I would bet.
Sure bet.
Let's see. Do you get more joy out of coaching your athletes or from when you were competing yourself?
Coaching.
Ben or Stefan? Coaching. Both coaching.
I was a fucking disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any fond memories of when you were a competitor?
No, I just loved lifting.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you ask me, do I get more enjoyment from coaching day to day, or I get more enjoyment from like off season and prepping myself? But all the on stage moments is coaching. If that makes sense.
What is your favorite bodybuilding memory, James?
Bodybuilding memory.
You go first. Or if anybody else has one on the
this Arnold's was by me by far the best.
That's your favorite bodybuilding memory?
Yeah, it is.
Why?
Whole package.
What's that mean?
It wasn't the nicest placing wise. Last year I had 2 wins. This year best place was the 3rd one, but still the human beings there, I would say also the awareness of me going into the show, how I felt, how I sucked in the moment. That was the first time I haven't been a zombie.
You enjoyed
So
yourself.
I would say that was the best bodybuilding moment I had until now.
Okay.
Because I forgot nearly every win. It just when you are into in a zombie mode, you're
too
just
busy.
don't.
You're too busy trying to win.
You just don't get it. Everything just goes. So those were never beautiful moments. So this year's Arnold was really quite on the top.
I think for me as well was the same because I got to spend a lot of time with everybody.
I'm gonna say that last week I made a point just to fuck around and have fun, and it seemed like everyone was kind of doing the same thing. Not fuck around, but everyone was making time to be with each other.
My favorite memory has to be the 2017 Arnold. I was sitting backstage with Luke, Cedric, John, Dallas. Who else was sitting with us? I just looked around and I was like, this is pretty fucking sweet. And we were all just sitting around. It was like, it was a very calm moment before we all went out. And it just felt, it felt really good. And now after the fact, it means even more. Like it meant a lot at the time it was happening. But now looking back at it, you're like, holy fuck, man, all 4 of those guys are gone. And I have a photo of us all together from that fucking exact time. We were all just sitting back. We were fully dressed. It was before we started pumping up, before we started glazing. We were all just sitting there relaxed, having a good time.
You know, it's funny about that lineup. Luke was so mad. Right? It's his pro debut, and in numerical order, it went Cedric, Luke, Dallas.
Yeah,
and he comes out like the fucking short stack in between 2 giants.
To the giants, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, one more and then we'll go. Did you? Nope, can't answer that one. Nope.
Again, sorry, like I know we're moving on question. The reason, again, this is the best time I had as well. It's the only time and the first time I've had a coach at a show with me who helped me.
That's so crazy to hear after all this time.
I know, because of travel issues, because of back in 2020, whatever, it was hard for Patrick to travel and stuff like that. So this is the first time I've actually been at a show. I'm able to sit down with my coach, talk, and go through the whole process. In all those years I competed, I've never had that.
Has Ben gotten his own blanket since the boys taught him the ways? and if so, has his sleep changed?
No, I have not. I want to be under the blanket with my wife.
Ben's such a fucking romantic. It's so annoying.
It's not even romantic because actually it's the 3 of us.
It is romantic.
It's not. There's my wife, there's my son, and then there's me. It's no fucking romance. Trust me.
No, I don't mean that doesn't not what I mean by romance.
Traditional. You mean traditional?
No, you're very romantic in your philosophies sometimes. Like it gets wrong to have your own blanket.
There are things that should be and things that do not need to be. And if I'm married to a woman, we share the same bed and we sleep under the same blankets. Yes.
Yeah, but I can't put my leg out.
That's it. That's your problem, not my problem.
You know what, Stefan? He just doesn't know. That's why. If he tried it once, he'd be like, "You guys are fucking so right."
That leg prison on that side, it drives me nuts.
I have a body pillow I sleep with, so I lay on my side and I have the body pillow that goes all the way through.
But when they need freedom,
well, my blanket has like an edge on it, and then my leg just comes out the side of it. It's
so you sleep on the left-hand side of the bed with your leg. So this side, would you sleep this side?
I sleep this side.
Yeah, good. That's the right way.
Yeah, but the other leg?
No, that's not the right. The right way is closer to the door. That's the right way. A man, a man always sleeps closer to the door.
But that bed is the right way around for that.
When we go to hotel rooms,
Stefan, you didn't know that?
You run away or what?
No, not so you can run away. You're protecting your wife. It's like
I have no fucking clue where the fucking door is. I sleep on the left side, and that's it.
That's it. I sleep on the left.
It's like when you're
walking. Me too.
When
no
you're walking,
way different.
When you're walking down the street, you walk on the street side, and your wife walks on the inside.
No, she walks behind me.
Oh, that too.
When there is a bed and a sleeping room, and we take a look who sleeps where, I need to find the place where the chance that I get hurt is the lowest.
Yeah,
okay, so you're like, I'm going to stand behind my wife if somebody comes in the room.
Yeah, no, I always sleep on the left-hand side because you can't sleep on the right because the whole stomach starts to feel fucked. But if you notice that.
All right, last question. I want to answer this one because I think it's a good one. How do you know when it's time to move on from something you love doing? Last question.
When you can't do it anymore. Until you can do it, I do it.
That's how I feel about it too. If you can do it and you love it and you're still successful at it, then why stop?
It doesn't even mean successful. If I still love it, I
love it. Keep going.
I don't know if you stop if you love it. If you love it, don't stop.
That's
Well,
what I said to a lot of people this weekend about the meet and greet about bodybuilding.
What's that, James?
Said that exact thing. That love, like, if you love something, then there is no requirement to stop doing it.
you don't
Yeah,
stop.
you might not be successful, but if you love doing something, that's why you do it.
Well, hold
you
on.
find
The only
another you find another way to keep doing what you love doing. It
Yeah.
might not be to the same extent,
Or
but
degree, yeah.
you don't stop.
But the only reason I said you stop is because if it's something that makes you money and you're no longer good at it and you're not making money, then you have to find something else to do.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
for
He,
I
he
meant
didn't say
top
that. He
purpose.
didn't mention money though. He
So
just
I'm
said
saying
what
what
you
I
love.
what I well, the way the context in which I was looking at it is like if you're a professional bodybuilder
Okay.
and you're making money doing this thing and you love doing it, when you're no longer good at it and you can't fucking make any money, then you can no longer be a professional bodybuilder. You have to find something else to do. You can still bodybuild, but you can't do it
Yes.
competitively.
That's
So-
the difference.
I have a funny question, and I have no idea the answer.
Sure.
How many percent of all pros, and there is a lot of, do you think can live from it?
How many percent? Well, it depends how. Wait, because this is really tough to answer because it depends
Yeah,
it depends on their hustle, right? Because nowadays,
And it also depends on the standard at which they're prepared to survive.
No, what
they-
do you think?
if
Just
they-
your personal idea. Do you
Right,
think 10% or more?
More.
in the
More.
pro leagues, you mean, or of all bodybuilders?
No pros, just IFBB pro status.
I'd say the top 20 maybe are making enough to make
You
a
think
living.
20%?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think 20 are making enough to make a living.
But
What
hang
do
on,
you think,
define
James?
living though, because if they're living very sparse and they're smart with their money, then there's a different
Well,
amount they need.
That's their quantifiable thing, not mine.
Right.
All I'm saying is, I bet you there's the top 20 pros in bodybuilding are making enough to pay their rent and buy their food and whatever. Are they living grand fucking lives? Probably the 20th guy is not. But does he have to work? Probably not.
I think 10%. I think it's really lower than we
Listen,
think.
I was never I was never in the top 10. Like
Whoa. Fouad
if
said top 20 bodybuilders.
if I had to rank myself as a bodybuilder, I probably would have put myself 15th in the world. I made a good living for fucking 10 years, man.
I'd say I'm roughly that kind of
Like,
spot
I
as
made-
well, and that's where I do okay.
Yeah, like I made 6 figures for 10 fucking years straight.
Yeah, but you were way more than the top 10%. Way
No.
better than the top 10%.
No, I'm saying if you took
20%, I mean.
No, I'm saying if you took the Olympia, right? If you took
No,
all-
I'm not talking about the Olympia. I talk about IFBB pros
right.
in bodybuilding, and you
Right.
were maybe the top 2% or the top 1.5%
Yeah, but
of
Fouad
all
meant
bodybuilders.
Yeah, Fouad meant top 20 bodybuilders.
I'm saying
Not
top 20
percent.
bodybuilders.
No, I
But-
mean percent of
Yeah, you mean
Oh,
percent.
okay.
all of them.
I
The
can't work
league,
out
of the
percents.
league.
That's why I'm like, fuck that.
You're talking about the whole league, like
Yeah,
all
yeah,
categories,
yeah.
all.
Yeah, I guess I would go.
You are
5%.
both way of the 1%ers, or even better than the 1%ers.
But also, there's lower level bodybuilders that are able to that have bigger followings. They're not
Well-
successful on stage. If they make way more money than say Samson does.
Well, this is why I was saying it depends on their hustle, because some guys have massive YouTube channels, some guys have tons of coaching clients, some guys have maybe a t-shirt business, like some guys maybe have a business in fucking real estate and they're still bodybuilders. Like there's all sorts of, so it depends on the
I came
but you're
to this.
saying but you're saying
He said just from bodybuilding.
on
Yeah.
average, just from bodybuilding, yeah, like 5%.
Yeah,
And
I'd say
that's
that.
where to the question before, money can't be the
Driving
motivation
factor.
for bodybuilding.
Oh no, if you're doing bodybuilding to make money, you chose the wrong profession.
Yeah, you're
It's not-
completely out of
I mean, you can
reality.
listen, you can make good money bodybuilding, but it's a lot of fucking
Yeah.
it's a lot of health risk and a lot of it's not the first choice for me if I was going to choose something to make money. Like if I wanted to make a lot of money in my life, it wouldn't be the first
Well, that's what I
choice.
mean. That's pretty widely accepted. None of us are here because we want to be the most financially successful people.
I mean, I
That's
think
not
I
why.
just wanted enough.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
we've all been pretty fortunate, which is, I can say
Yeah,
I've been pretty set,
100%.
but that wasn't the reason. Like if I when I was growing up, if I was like, I want to do something that's going to make money, I'm going right to sales.
Right,
not-
but if you compare us, and maybe I'll take myself out of this conversation, but compare where you, Stefan, James are within our industry. In a similar, more commercial industry, you're all much wealthier than you are at this point. If Stefan is coaching the best NFL players or the best
Yeah, I get what you're
whatever,
saying. Yeah,
he's making way more fucking money. If you're in a different category, if James has just got 8th in like the second biggest competition in that sport, he's making more money than
well,
he
it's
just got
because
paid.
that's because bodybuilding as a whole is a much smaller niche
Sure.
sport.
But
than,
it's
like,
bigger and better than also a lot of other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I have zero complaints. All I'm trying to get across to the viewer is if your sole purpose for bodybuilding is popularity or money,
You are done.
probably not the right thing to get into because it's very
Yeah.
it's not, I wouldn't say bodybuilding is hard, but I would say it's very monotonous and takes a lot of like
It's very simple.
It's very
It's very
simple,
but it's not easy.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
Simple, but it can weigh very heavy on you as well.
Yeah.
So if you got to tolerate that weighing heavy for a long time and continue to try hard.
All right, boys, we'll wrap it there. Thank
Hope
you
you
guys
feel
for
better,
coming.
man. Soon. God bless you.
It's been all week like this shit, man. I think it's
Yeah.
starting to get. I think I'm starting to turn a corner though.
Good.
It has been, James, the 18 with whiskeys.
Yeah,
what it
it's just a hangover at 45.
It's
mate.
that
That's
mother.
what
It's
that
that.
is.
It's that motherfucking 18. You know, he didn't have 15. He didn't have 10. He had 18.
You know how I know that?
Why?
I keep all my straws from the drink before.
Yeah. Have you recognized that they do 2 in?
No, fuck you. All right.